here on STSPN.com. Steve Willits along with Luke Windsor and Todd Elvick. Tonight's matchup, the Everett Reign, the home team, looking to get a little revenge from their season opener this year. They lost to the Tacoma Trauma last month, 6-0. A game that was decided by the lone touchdown of the game with only a minute to go. The Reign haven't forgotten that game. They look to get back in the victory column tonight. They come in with a record of 1 win and 3 losses. Tacoma with 2 wins and 3 losses. And Luke Windsor, you coached this game for many years. You know what it's like when a team in high school, you don't get a chance until the very next year. But you know what it's like when a team that is your rival beats you in a game that you might even feel you should have won, and then you get a chance to get back at them. And that's what the Reign are looking at tonight.
Those are probably the losses that stay with you the longest. It's not the blowout losses. It's not the losses where you just know the other team was better than you. It's the ones that were close, and you know if we do 1 or 2 things differently, we'd have won the game. Those losses, that'll keep you, especially as whether you're coach or a player, those are the ones that keep you up at night.
So we will see what happens here tonight as, again, 6-0 was the final score last time. Both teams looking to get it done on the ground more than in the passing game so far this year. As Michelle Walsh is your starting quarterback for the Reign. Number 15, Katrina Guerrero, taking the field tonight for the Tacoma Trauma. And both of these teams have used a few different running backs throughout the course of the year. We'll see exactly who steps up to try to become the star player of the night. Last time we saw these two teams, it was Christy Egan, number 21 for the Trauma. She busted off a 41-yard touchdown run on an end around with just a little more than a minute to go in the game. Egan, the leading rusher so far this year for the Tacoma Trauma, 26 carries, 259 yards, and 4 touchdowns.
Now she's listed as a wide receiver, so that either they run a lot of fly sweeps or reverses, or she's kind of a Swiss Army knife type player where they'll line her up in the backfield or sometimes out wide. So, but just to have that kind of versatility on your roster is never a bad thing.
The Tacoma Trauma will receive the opening kickoff. They are wearing the road gray uniforms with a touch of black on the shoulder pads, blue pants. As their kick return team is about to take the field. The front line is already out there. Now we get the returners coming out as well, as it looks as though number 1, Kalina Fistrider, and number 4, D. Pettersen, will drop back to return the kick.
This is an unusual kick return formation. They have 8 players all within 15 yards of the ball. Usually that's what you'd see for with a hands team expecting an onside kick.
And now D. Peterson is the lone returner back at the 28-yard line. Over to her right is Kalina Fistrider, number 1, and then you've got number 41. And our first non-roster player here tonight. Oh, there's Sarah Forster, as we have a roster that, look at that, they gave us 2 different sheets. One does not have her, one does. Tara Forster, the strong safety out of Tacoma, Washington, is standing at the 42-yard line off to the left. A little bit of a delay here. I'm not really sure what we're waiting for at this point. Oh, there's that would do it. We're working on the chain crew right now. Apparently there was no chain crew. I'm looking over at Larry Lisk up here in the booth. And are we getting a couple of fill-ins tonight? Is that what we've got right now? The unsung heroes of the night, 2 folks stepping out of the, or 3 folks, I guess, stepping out of the bleachers to take their spots out on the field, and they will operate as the chain crew tonight.
Can't really have a football game without a chain crew, and they were getting some crash course on how to be a chain crew, it looks like, from one of the officials.
Last minute coaching, and if you're you've got the down marker, you've really got to get some coaching, right? You're busy on every play.
You follow the ball. you go where the ball goes.
Line up where the ball is, flip it over to the next set of downs, and we're finally ready to go here. The opening kickoff from Lindsay Felder. Boots it away. Ball bounces off the chest of Pettersen, bouncing around on the ground, picked up at the 30, spun around, and dropped at the 33-yard line. A few different players from the Reign in on the tackle, one of which, number 85, Shania Holland, in on the tackle.
And there's a flag, and it looked like Pettersen may have gotten her face mask grabbed on that return because a hand went up high and she got spun around.
It definitely looked like an unorthodox run, if you will. I had a feeling something might have happened. I didn't actually see the hand go up there, but the way Pettersen got flung around and spun into a 180. Had a feeling that might have been the case, and in fact, that will give the Trauma 15 additional yards here on the opening kickoff, which puts them just a little before midfield. I think we're going to have them right around the 47 or 48-yard line.
So good starting field position to start this game for the Trauma. That was scary with the kickoff going off her pads and taking a bounce towards the oncoming Everett coverage team. So she did a good job of getting to the ball and getting what she could on that return.
Whistle has been blown, and we are ready for the first play from scrimmage today. Once again, Katrina Guerrero, the starting quarterback. Fakes the handoff, looks to pitch it, runs into her own player, and dropped in the backfield, not before fumbling. The ball is down at the 35, and the Rain fall on it at the 34-yard line. Luke, that was interesting. It looked as though it was a little bit of a broken play as Guerrero looked like she wanted to pitch it. She held it in. Miscommunication there. She finally flung it over to one of her teammates who then was spun around and dropped it, and all of a sudden the Rain are in field, or their first possession of the game will be from the 34-yard line.
It looked like it was Shapri Johnson who was lined up at tight end. It looked like they were trying to run a tight end reverse, but I think Guerrero, the quarterback, she turned the wrong way, and that caused a lot of confusion. She did get it to Jones, who then lost it almost immediately, and thankful for Tacoma, Everett was unable to pick it up and run with it. They just ended up falling on it for the recovery.
So here come your Rain. Michelle Walsh, your quarterback. It looks as though Casey Cornish might be the fullback. No, that's actually Nikki Pelham who's playing fullback. Your tailback is Felder. She takes the sweep around to the left, puts her shoulder down, maybe picked up an extra yard in the process. A gain of 4. We'll bring up a 2nd and 6 as your starting backfield, Lindsay Felder. So we just mentioned wearing the number 12. She's out of Monroe, Washington. Nikki Pelham, your leading rusher on the season for the Rain. She's out of Everett, Washington. And your quarterback, again, Michelle Walsh, number 11.
Good opening play there for Everett. Just toss it to the left side, gains about 4 yards. And now we do have a Tacoma player who is down on the turf. Hurt. It looks like it is Shapri Johnson, who they're taking an injury timeout for. I didn't see what happened on the play, but yeah. So you really can't. Forever, you couldn't ask for a much better start. They forced a turnover on the first play of the game, and then get a good positive play on first down.
Your offensive line for the Rain, we'll get these as we go. We were handed them in order of starting lineup, but by first name. Number 83, that is Katrina Rook. She is your left tackle. Your left guard, Shane Matson, number 89. Your center, so it looks as though our injured player is now up, is number 69, Leanne Lehman. So we continue to monitor what's going on the field right now.
Looks like it's Kayla Davis, number 35, who's the right guard.
You don't see too many 35s playing right guard, but you do in this league.
No.
And then number 70, Julie Reynolds, is your right tackle out of Marysville, Washington. 2nd and 6 coming up. Walsh back under center. Pelham and Felder behind her. She's going to throw this time. Rolls out to the right. Looking for Carr. No. Cooper coming over from the tight end position as she fell into the flat there right around the 21-yard line. Ball falls incomplete. That will bring up a 3rd and 6.
And that's like a nice throw from Walsh, considering that she had Sandy Pettersen in her face the whole time. So for on the run, that's a fairly accurate pass. Cooper just unable to come up with it.
Yeah, Sarah Cooper wearing the number 22 out of Lake Stevens. She's your starting tight end. Your wide receivers are Emilia Carr, who is number 13, and number 6, Norris Shankman. Felder going in motion. Pelham lined up right behind Walsh off to her left shoulder. 3 receivers set out to the right. Low snap, handoff to Pelham. Pelham looking for room, gets up behind her line, and gets thrown down once she gets to the 29-yard line. We'll give her a gain of 1 on the play as Phaedra Keaton, number 23, the defensive lineman from Tacoma, makes the tackle.
And it looks like Everett tried to run a fullback trap out of a shotgun set there, and Keaton coming from the backside did a good job chasing it down and really holding Pelham to no gain.
So we've got a 4th and 5 coming up. 13:29 to go here, first quarter. Opening drive of the game for the Reign, who took over at the Tacoma 34-yard line after an opening fumble. Walsh in shotgun formation, takes the snap, looking downfield, throwing over the middle. Ball is caught! 14-yard line, North Shankman going down to a knee, brings that one in. She needed 6 yards. She picked up 15.
Great job by Walsh. Tacoma was bringing an all-out blitz. They were man coverage on all 4 receivers, and then they're sending everyone else. So in the face of pressure, Walsh would just deliver a nice, accurate throw to Shankman, who did a great job going down and make sure she made the catch, and it was enough for the first down.
Shankman, who leads this team in receiving, she came into the game with 13 catches for 201 yards. Give her 15 more after that one. Walsh takes the snap, hands off to Felder, looking for room off right tackle. Fumbled the football. Waiting to see who got on it.
Portland thinks they have it. I mean, Tacoma thinks they have it.
And they do, in fact, have the fumble. Very similar to what happened the last time these two teams played. Everett, time and time again, had great field position, only to come away empty-handed. This time they get into the red zone, and they cough it up.
Tough break there for Everett. Like you said, they forced the fumble on Tacoma's first play. They get the big 4th down conversion. They got some momentum going. Then the very next play, fumble, and they lose it.
So Tacoma, for the second time today, will bring their offense onto the field, hoping for better results than what they had the first time around on that opening fumble. Guerrero hands off to the fullback. Lindsey Felder meets her at the line of scrimmage. Then she gets a convoy of players to help her out. However, it looks as though fullback might have picked up a couple yards on the play after forward progress.
Looked like Tacoma's trying to run a trap play with the fullback there, and Felder did a good job reading that from her linebacker position, and I think she was maybe a little angry from losing that fumble, so she came and tackled with some bad intent.
Looked as though that was Sierra Lynch on the carry. She's wearing the number 13. This font number's a little tough to read up here at times. Handoff, sweeping out to the right side and not finding any room. Stepping up and making the tackle. That's number 37, Forrest Larson, making a huge tackle on number 21, Christy Egan. And Egan not finding any place to go other than the ground.
Great job there by the Everett defense, snuffing it out at the point of attack, forcing the running back to bounce it out wide, and Forrest Larson did a great job maintaining the outside leverage and making the tackle.
-2 on the play, 3rd and 10 coming up for the Trauma. Still looking for their first down of the game. Playing it over on the right hash, closest to the north end of the field, which is where the Reign fan base is located, as well as their bench, and we get a penalty marker thrown here. It looks like it's going to be delay of game.
Yep. Usually if the back judge is the one who throws a pre-snap penalty, that's what it is.
And Luke, how does that work at the high school level? When we're at a high school stadium, you don't get a play clock on the field per se. How does the quarterback know?
Well, the indicator, the back judge is supposed to put one of their arms up when there's 5 seconds left, and that to let the quarterback know, hey, you have 5 seconds left. You might want to snap the ball now.
That's going to push the ball all the way back inside the 10-yard line to the 7. Reign looking to tee off on this play. 3rd and 15 as Guerrero comes up to the line of scrimmage. Still in I formation with Lynch directly behind her. Egan behind Lynch. And we're going to get a sweep around to the left. Nowhere to go. Number 9, Brooklyn Holton, sniffed that one out from the get-go. Looked as though number 42, Melissa Marsalek, took the sweep over from right to left and managed, I was going to say, got back to the line of scrimmage. However, she lost a yard on the play.
Well, they tried to run that tight end reverse again. Better result this time in that they didn't fumble it and lose it.
Emilia Carr back to return this kick, as is North Shankman. Carr standing inside the 40-yard line, right around the 39. Shankman at about the 45-yard line. That ball is high into the air. Egan with a kick. Did not go very far. Gets a little bit of a bounce, but not much. Ball is going to come to rest at the 23-yard line. That is a 17-yard kick with no return.
And
Everett sitting with very nice field position. We're going to take a real quick break. When we come back, we'll see if the Reign can get on the board. You're watching STSPN.com. And welcome back to the Sound Alive Sport, or STSPN.com. Steve Willits, Luke Windsor, Todd Elvick. The Everett Reign at the Trauma 23-yard line. Michelle Walsh brings her offense back onto the field for the second time, looking to pass, looking out into the flat, throws it out to Felder. Felder eludes one tackler, puts her shoulder down into the red zone, and is finally dragged down at the 17-yard line. That is a gain of 6 on the play for Lindsay Felder.
Great running by Felder. Taking on the initial contact, keeping her feet and legs moving, breaks free of that first tackle, and then does a good job finishing that run, lowering her shoulder and getting an extra yard or two before going down.
So Michelle Walsh 2 for 3 on the day, which is a nice confidence builder for her. And for the second time in as many possessions, Everett in the Tacoma red zone. Let's see if they can score this time. Pitch goes out to Felder. Felder looking for room as well as blocking. Tries to sweep it out. Waiting for her, staying at home. With the long dreads, that's number 52. Makisa Bush Johnson, one of the leading tacklers for this Trauma team. Johnson not fooled one bit, and she throws Felder back for a loss on the play. Looks as though that's going to be a loss of 4. We'll bring up a 3rd and 7.
Well, Bush Johnson did a great job defeating her block. That was Cooper, who was playing tight end, who was supposed to be blocking her. She just wasn't able to get the job done, and that resulted in a big tackle for a loss, setting up a 3rd and long.
3rd and 7 coming up. 8:44 to go here, first quarter. Everett Reign, Tacoma Trauma, scoreless. Walsh fakes the pitch, gives it off to Pelham. Pelham lost it momentarily, able to recover it. And she barely gets back to the line of scrimmage. Number 23 stepping up to make the tackle. That's Phaedra Keaton one more time. We called her name just a little while ago. She takes up a lot of space in the middle and does not provide any for the Reign to have. It's going to bring up 4th and, well, they're calling it 4th and 5 up on the board. Looks like it's more like 4th and 9. Well, that's a burnt-out bulb, apparently.
Possibly.
Got to pay the bills here at Frank Goddard, apparently, if Muckle School District is listening.
This stadium is not young.
They're going for it. 4th and 9. Walsh drops back, throws over the middle. She's got Holton. Almost had it. Ball goes off of her fingertips. It might have been tipped as Brandy Oakenfels went up for it. If she didn't tip it, at the very least, she took away her concentration, as Holton would love to have that one. That was 6 points waiting to happen.
That if you ask her after the game, she'll say she should have caught that, and she's right, because that was 6 points waiting to happen. And for a team that has been struggling on offense, struggling to take advantage of opportunities like that, you can't let moments like that go.
Twice in the red zone, twice denied. This is a Everett team that the last time these two teams faced one another, they took over 5 possessions in the first half from Tacoma inside Tacoma's 40-yard line. Couldn't score there either, so points have been very tough to come by, and certainly the Reign having their opportunities. Guerrero takes the snap now for the Trauma, throws that one out into the flat. Ball is caught and finally brought down at the 30-yard line is number 21, Christy Agan, as Forrest Larson, number 37, gets after her. We do, however, have a penalty flag down.
And it's right around the line of scrimmage, so that could be holding or maybe even a hands to the face.
So far, dry out on the field. We were looking above our heads, Luke, before this game. With about 30 minutes to go, a massive dark cloud rolled in, and you can still see blue skies in certain directions, both to the southeast as well as the north. But
you look southwest of here, though, and there's some ominous stuff over there.
Yeah,
so hopefully that stays away.
Could be an interesting game. We might have a little bit of everything, and
it's spring in Western Washington. What do you expect?
It's Seattle in May of 2017, in a year in which
we've had very little spring.
Not much at all, as it has been the wettest rain season on record in 122 years. Fortunately, we haven't had much of the wet stuff yet today. We've got a sweep coming around to the left this time, and finding room to run is Sandy Pettersen. She's still going. Finally tripped up by the shoestrings right around the 31-yard line. Pettersen needed 15 for the first down. She might be about a yard and a half short.
She'd be a yard short. Sometimes she came around on a fly sweep, and then a good job by the Tacoma blocking on that side to get a good push and also to hook some of the Everett defenders, not allowing them to keep outside contain, and allowing Pettersen to get around the edge.
Shotgun formation. Tacoma still looking for their first down. We get a lot of movement. No whistles, however. The run goes right up the middle, and if they miss that one, I am shocked. As Lynch barrels her way forward to the 40-yard line. I think we had the entire left side of the offensive line went up early, and maybe even one of the Everett players as well.
And they were on the far hash, so how did the official on that side of the field not see that? Wow.
And Tacoma, as we just mentioned a minute ago, moving the chains for the first time today. The Go Rain chant going directly below us right now. And we sit directly above the rain side of the grandstand, so we can't see the crowd. It sounds like a decent one tonight thus far.
Yep.
Always a good time when these two teams get together. Tough matchups anyway. This ball goes out into the flat. Egan looking for open space and has it past midfield to the 45. Tiptoes down past the 40 and is finally pushed out at the 36. Nice job by Egan. She picks up 24 yards on the play.
And that's just a swing pass to Egan after a play action. They brought her around in motion. Play action fake to the running back, and I think that caused a couple Everett defenders to bite on the fake and create some space for Egan to catch the ball and then get up the field.
Talked about Walsh getting a little momentum and some confidence early in the game. Katrina Guerrero also looking for the same thing. Between these two, they've only thrown one touchdown pass all year. That short passing game seems to have some legs thus far. Lynch right up the middle has a nice open hole. Shania Holland closes it fairly quickly, flings her down to the ground at around the 34, but not before she picks up 3 yards.
So nice play by Holland, playing it from her defensive end spot, shedding the blocker and then closing down and making the tackle. If Holland doesn't get there, that could have been a big gain for Tacoma.
Tacoma putting together a very nice drive right now. Scooting inside the 35-yard line of the rain. Nikki Pelham has a shoe come untied. Gets an assist from Lindsay Felder as she goes down and helps out with the wardrobe there. Now we're ready to play. Shotgun formation. Egan going in motion. The handoff goes to Egan. Reverse to Pettersen. She looks for space out to the left. Cuts it outside. Gets by one would-be tackler. Doesn't get by the other. And give a lot of credit to Sarah Cooper. She was the one that missed the initial tackle. And after Brooklyn Holton slowed her down, Cooper, not giving up on the play, comes over and finishes it off.
Great job by Cooper. She missed the initial tackle, but she forced, I think it was Pettersen to bounce it out even far wider than she wanted to outside, allowing Holton to get in there. And then Cooper, not giving up on the play, was able to clean it up to finish it off.
So we're going to look at a 3rd and 17 coming up. 3:38 to go. Here in the opening quarter, no score. Tacoma Trauma winning the first of 2 matchups with the Rain earlier this year.
Another flag was thrown by the back judge, so another delay of game. That's on the coaches taking too long to get the play in because the flag was thrown right as Tacoma was even breaking the huddle.
And who are our referees today? We've got a list of those over here. We'll read those off while we're waiting for the play.
The referee is Bob Zamora. Umpire is Omar Kordahi. Linesman Jim Park. Line judge Mike Dolly. And the back judge, who just threw that flag, Clarence Eli.
And I was told by the other 4 referees that if anything happens today, blame Bob Zamora, the head ref. And joking, of course. Ball is thrown out. Number 21, Egan catching it. Forrest Larson waiting at home, though. Brings her down after she picks up 1 yard on the play, and that's going to bring up 4th and 21 for the Trauma.
A, they may not have been joking. And B, great job there by Forrest Larson, reading that and reacting right away to make the quick tackle.
Hagan with her second official catch of the game, one of which a third one was called back earlier. Punt formation, Hagan dropping back. Her first kick went only 16 yards, and we get whistles again.
I don't think Tacoma was set. Or there could be, or maybe even someone from Everett was in the neutral zone. It's one or the other.
Either way, we're going to look at a punt with 4th and 21, and Bob Zamora steps up and notifies us that the Rain, in fact, are being called for being offsides. Make it a 4th and 16.
They were pointing at Britt Flickinger, who was the jammer there, and she was a little too anxious to get into the face of the gunner.
Flickinger, who we celebrated her birthday up here last week, or at least we talked about her on her birthday. And today it's Rich Stewart, the defensive coordinator. Coach Stewart would certainly love to have a big game for his team on his birthday. And that ball takes a nice bounce inside the 20 and finally goes down right around the 18-yard line. We will give her 26 on the kick. Not a pretty kick, but I guess if it gets the job done and you get it inside the 20, you've accomplished what you wanted.
When you see a blue pit in baseball, they'll always say it's a line drive in the book. So with punts, it doesn't. Even if they're not the majestic, big, long, high hang time spirals, if they get the job done, they get the job done.
They certainly don't mark them off and tell you that it was either high in the air or low or squibbed or anything like that. Yardage is yardage, and that's exactly what they got there. Rain for the third time now in this game, bringing their offense out onto the field. By far their worst field position to start a drive at their own 18-yard line. Handoff goes to Pelham. Pelham finds room up the middle, stays on her feet, spins around, gets past the first down marker, and is finally dropped at the 31-yard line. Nikki Pelham getting ahead for 14 yards on the carry.
Nice hole there opened up by the Everett offensive line, and Pelham does the rest, breaking a couple tackles and doing a good job keeping her feet moving. And that's one thing I appreciate about her running style is, it doesn't matter how many tacklers are trying to bring her down, she will always keep moving, keep fighting for those extra yards.
So now Walsh back in shotgun formation. 4 receivers set. Pelham stays in the backfield. Takes the snap, looking to her left, continuing to look, and is finally brought down, fumbles the football, doing a nice job of recovering it. It looks as though it was number 83, Katrina Rook, who fell on it, saving the Rain from yet another turnover.
Good coverage there by Tacoma. It looked like Everett had on both sides they were running slant and stops with wheel routes alongside of it, and the Trauma did a great job covering that, giving Walsh nowhere to really throw it, and then she had to try to tuck it and run, and the pass rush was finally able to get there and bring her down.
So we're looking at a 2nd and 15 coming up. Clock now showing 1:25 to go here. First quarter, no score. North Shankman flanked out to the left. Emilia Carr to the right. The pitch goes to Felder. Felder trying to run behind Pelham, gets a lead block, gets past the 40-yard line, dragged down, and finally falls forward to the 42, make it the 43-yard line. Enough for a first down.
And Nikki Pelham's had a nice drive so far. She had the run that got the first down. That time she had the block that really was able to spring Felder for the nice run there. Then Felder does a good job fighting for some extra yardage and to get the ball across the sticks.
When your quarterback gets sacked for a 5-yard loss to make it 2nd and 15, how about a 16-yard run the very next play? Always a
never hurts. Never hurts.
It was a huge moment for a team, and that's exactly what they needed right now. Once again, 4 receivers set. Holton out in the side. Ooh, that looked like she wanted the wheel route. Brooklyn Holton, who started to fade out to the left and then cut it into the middle. Walsh had other ideas.
I think that's on Holton because the wheel route is supposed to kind of keep going to the outside, and then for some reason Holton kind of broke across the middle, and at that point it would look like it was Mallory Moore, the defensive back for Tacoma, who actually had the best chance at making that catch, but just unless Holton read something where she was supposed to go inside, that was a bad route on her part.
Back to the I formation. Walsh now under center. Pelham right behind her as well as Holton. Holton gets the pitch. Ball bounces off the ground right nicely back up to her. To the 50, the 45, past the 40. still on her feet, fighting forward. She's to the 25, hasn't been brought down yet. A scrum going right now, and finally at the 21-yard line, Brooklyn Holton goes down in what is not only the play of the game, maybe the play of the year right there for the Reign, certainly on offense. We're going to give her, let's take a look here. We have to actually get a calculator out almost on that one. 37-yard carry, and what looked like it was going to be catastrophic as Holton initially dropped the pitch, got the lucky bounce right back into her hands, and it might have even helped her a little bit.
I think it may have thrown off some of the pursuit angles or the defense, because as soon as they see the ball on the ground, they're going for the ball, and their pursuit kind of gets messed up. But so how do you make up for dropping a touchdown pass, running a bad route, and dropping a pitch? You get a 37-yard run.
Yeah, I'll actually spot her back to the we'll give her 36 now, as they're going to mark it at the 21, but a gorgeous run at that. She did a lot of that on her own as well. Very next play goes up the middle. Now we get Forrest Larson getting a carry. Everybody getting into it now. Larson's still fighting. She's trying to get away from number 4, who's Pettersen. Pesky Pettersen, if you will, as she just hung on for dear life like she was riding a Bronco. And she's finally dropped back at the, I guess they'll give her forward momentum to the 20, but Forrest Larson showing some fight.
And really, that's the one common trait among every Everett runner is they run hard. They refuse to go down easy, and you can't ask for more than that effort-wise from any ball carrier.
You look at the stats for the year coming into the night. Holton had 12 carries for 46 yards, so she just about doubled her yards. And according to my stats, I think that might have been Forrest Larson's first carry of the year. So we get a little excitement there to end the quarter. Clock now showing double zeros. We've played one in the Everett Reign for the 3rd time today. They're threatening. However, we've yet to see a score. You're watching STSPN.com.
Sports Physical Therapy is proud to be the official physical therapist and athletic trainers for the Everett Reign. Their team of experts specializes in physical therapy, hand therapy, massage therapy, athletic training, functional fitness, and more. With clinics in Everett, Bellevue, and Kirkland, SPT has the experience and knowledge to help athletes of all ages perform at their highest potential. Call them today to schedule a complimentary injury assessment at 425-252-3908 or visit them at sportsptcenters.com.
And welcome back to Frank Goddard Stadium here in Everett, Washington. You are watching Women's Football Alliance here on STSPN.com. The home team, the Everett Reign, taking on the Tacoma Trauma. Steve Willits, Luke Windsor, Todd Elvick. Reign looking for not only their first points of the night, but their first points of the year against the Trauma. And for the 3rd time tonight, they are into the red zone, looking at a 2nd and 9 at the 20-yard line, and the referees are about ready to step back. Going to get a whistle here in a moment, and we are ready for second quarter action as Michelle Walsh lines up in shotgun formation. Nikki Pelham off to her left. Lindsay Felder going in motion. Fake the handoff to Felder. Give it to Pelham, who dives up the middle. Pelham being dragged down from behind, but not before she picks up 2 yards.
And it looked like, again, Tacoma's bringing the blitz. They were playing with no safeties deep, so that's usually an indicator that it's going to be man coverage on all the wide receivers and everyone else is coming, and that's what Tacoma did. And unfortunately, Pelham was not able to break that tackle because she had a lot of running room.
Unofficially, I've got this down as being a 9-play drive so far. When you're the play-by-play announcer and the stat keeper, you always say unofficially. You're never quite
always
sure.
Unofficially.
Yeah, 63 yards so far in this drive. They're going to get a throw over the middle to Felder, just a little bit too far in front of her as she had that left hand extended but couldn't quite come up with it.
And it looked like Walsh was just in a little bit too much of a hurry. She didn't really have her feet set, and I believe it was Nora Shankman who's on the outside receiver on that side. Actually, that would have been the throw to make there because she was breaking free of her defender and could have had walk in for a touchdown. 4th
and 7 coming up, and we're going to get a field goal attempt this time. Lindsay Felder lining up to kick a 35-yard field goal. Michelle Walsh will handle the snap. Looks as though, is that Brooklyn Holton with the long snap?
Might be.
It's actually 69, it looks like. Kick is up, and it is short and off to the left. And we get a penalty marker thrown right around where she kicked it.
Felder was on the ground, so this could be against Tacoma for either for roughing or running into the kicker. If it's roughing, it's a 5-yard variety. If it's roughing, it's 15-yard. Personal foul, maybe half the distance to the goal. If it's running into, it's 5 yards, and this will be 4th down.
So we wait the call from
It's
Bob
roughing.
Zamora.
It's roughing. He did a personal foul indicator. That's 1st down.
And those are the kind of errors that you do not want to see if you're a head football coach. If you're
the
Michael Falk, you do not like that at all. I mean, 35-yard field goal attempt, odds are in your favor that the kicker is not going to make it or it's going to be short. To get a roughing the kicker called, especially on a miss like that, it's the last thing you wanted to see.
When it's a miss and it's just coaches will either want to tear out the hair or their hair will go gray, one or the other.
So Michelle Walsh now bringing her team back onto the field, this time inside the 10-yard line. We'll spot it right around the 9. Emilia Carr wide open over on the right side.
She is uncovered.
If Walsh sees this, she's got a touchdown.
She didn't.
Looks to the left, throws it up in the air. Oh, almost completed. Has North Shankman had her hands on it.
That went through her hands.
She should have had that one. That was 6 points right there.
But yeah, it looked like a car was uncovered. And I know at Kamiak, whenever we had a situation where there was an uncovered receiver, the quarterback would make a call, and immediately that let everyone know he's just going to take the snap and throw it out to that receiver. I don't know if Everett has that in their offense or not, but they could have used it there.
Michelle Walsh now 2 of 7 for 22 yards, and 2 of those passes were just flat out dropped. Handoff, no, she rolls out to the right, looking into the corner of the end zone, throws it up for Emilia Carr. Carr goes up and gets the touchdown. Emilia Carr with a jump ball just put herself between the quarterback and the defender, which was Christy Egan. Emilia Carr with the 9-yard touchdown reception. Everett Rain are on the board with 14:04 to go here in the second quarter.
That came out of Walsh's hands badly. It was a wounded duck coming out, and Carr just did a great job. Just from how she positioned herself, she may have a basketball background because she basically boxed out the defender, went up like she was grabbing a rebound, and then just powered her way into the end zone. She came up a little bit shaken up on the play, but it's a good hurt because it's a touchdown.
And we talked about the play right before that where Emilia was just wide open over there. Certainly not wide open this time, but nonetheless, one play later, the Rain are into the end zone. Carr, who came into this game with 4 catches on the year for 80 yards, gets her first touchdown reception of 2017.
Felder is way back for an extra point.
Kick is up.
But it worked.
And the kick is good. Lindsay Felder putting the PAT through the uprights, comes over, celebrates with the coaching staff, and we're going to go to commercial break. When we come back, we'll see if the Tacoma Trauma can respond. The Rain are up 7-0. You're watching STSPN.com. Back to Frank Goddard Stadium. The Everett Rain draw first blood here tonight. 9-yard touchdown pass from Michelle Walsh to Emilia Carr. Lindsay Felder with the PAT. It is now 7-0. Speaking of Lindsay Felder, she is ready to kick off here with 14:04 to go in the second quarter. I think that might be Pettersen back to receive the kick. We can't quite see until she spins her body a little bit, and in fact it is, and she's going to fade over to the right side. Takes it at the 33-yard line, eludes one tackler, falls forward, give her a 10-yard return on the play, which will set Tacoma up at the 43-yard line as the offense once again comes back onto the field.
And on that last drive, good solid drive by Everett, and then it was aided by Tacoma by committing that roughing the kicker penalty, and then 2 plays later they were able to take advantage and get in the end zone, draw first blood. And already, because of that extra point, we have a higher scoring game than the last time these two teams met.
So apparently, if you are the Rain, if you take over the ball at the Tacoma 36 or the Tacoma 23,
you don't score.
You can't score. But when you take over on your own 18, that seems to be the recipe for a long, sustained drive that gets into the end zone.
Maybe play more of a bend but don't break defense.
Apparently. Egan in motion one more time. Ball is snapped. We get whistles all over the place and a ball that hits the ground. See what the call is here.
Well, there's some... When the umpire usually throws it means, and the play stops, usually means false start. And they're backing up like it is. But that penalty may have saved Tacoma because the snap was mistimed because it looked like it may have hit the receiver in motion.
Tacoma will now start this drive at the 38-yard line. 1st and 15. You've got to wonder now, can the Reign make this lead stand? They've been very stingy on defense all year long, regardless of who they've played. Even in last week's loss to Portland, the points did not come easy for Portland. Ball is run up the middle. Shania Holland with the tackle. Somebody pops it into the air, and it looks as though the Reign came up with it. Waiting for the signal. They definitely have the ball. It's just a matter of whether or not it was still in play. And there it is. Looking through the binoculars, I never did see who recovered it, but it doesn't matter.
We're getting told Nikki Pelham may have been the one to recover it, but great play by Shania Holland, blowing it up from her defensive end spot. She making the tackle and forcing the fumble, and then Nikki Pelham was there to make the recovery.
So fumble, punt, fumble for Tacoma so far. And Todd Elvick's just informed me that we just showed the replay, and you can even see the ball pop into the air as Pelham was able to retrieve that one. Here comes the handoff to Pelham. Gets it done on defense. Can she do it on offense as well? She lost the football. Taking it away from her and running down the field is number 23, Phaedra Keaton. Keaton finally tackled at the 48-yard line. So 2 plays, 2 turnovers. Tacoma actually gained some ground on that possession.
Yeah. I talked about this earlier with Pelham especially. She always runs hard. She's always keeping her feet moving. But what she did not do there is her pad level is too high, and then when she got in traffic, she did not put 2 hands on the ball. When you're in traffic, know that they're going to be defenders are going to be reaching and grabbing for that football. Put 2 hands on it and protect that ball at all costs.
Hate to point it out, but once again, when the Reign start off on the Tacoma side of the field, 0 for 3 now. That possession certainly didn't last quite as long, and we've got a timeout. We'll take a quick break. 13:34 to go here in the second quarter. You are watching STSPN.com. Stadium. Trauma trailing the Everett Reign, however, they do have the football. Starting this drive in decent field position as well as they get the nice fumble recovery on the last play. Sweeping outside before getting blasted out. That was number 13 on the carry, Sierra Lynch, and Lynch went down hard as Lindsey Felder stepped up and put a shoulder into her.
Yeah, Felder playing at the linebacker spot. Just good job of scraping off tackle and making the play, but that time Shania Holland got pushed back. So again, at the point of attack, you need to hold your ground, keep your leverage, and don't let the especially if you're playing a edge position like defensive end, and not let the ball carrier get outside of you.
Lynch now 20 yards on 4 carries so far tonight. I formation, and we're going to get First Rider getting her first carry of the game. A little bit of a tongue twister there, and she gets ahead for a pickup of 5 yards, and that will give the Trauma another first down.
Just a simple fullback dive, and it was what helped make it more effective was that Tacoma got to the line quickly, and then they snapped it quickly. Really didn't let Everett get completely set on defense.
So Tacoma now stepping up to the line of scrimmage at the Everett 41-yard line. Katrina Guerrero once again under center. This time it's going back to Lynch at the tailback position. Lynch going through the open gap there on the left side and finally gets ahead to the 32-yard line. Give her a gain of 9 on the play. Tacoma seeming to respond fairly well to falling behind as well as coughing up that ball just a few moments ago. And now all of a sudden they're heading down the field and hoping to get their first points of the game.
And Nikki Pelham had that play read pretty well, and she did everything right except make the tackle because she got into the backfield and was in position, just couldn't wrap up.
Looking along that line for Everett. Got Alyssa Allen playing outside there on the right. Nikki Pelham in one of the gaps. Janelle Aaliyah coming from the nose tackle position, and she almost makes the tackle there. She finally does. As soon as we call her name, big number 73 sweeping out, following Lynch down the field, and finally drags her down at the 25-yard line.
Just a simple toss sweep, and they were able to hook a couple of the Everett defenders. And what I saw a couple Everett players do, they try to backdoor the blocks, and by doing that, you give up the edge and you give up outside contain. Can't do that. Cannot do that.
Continuing to go down that line, they're playing out on the left end is number 22, Sarah Cooper. I formation once again. 2 receivers, 1 out to each side. Guerrero hands off to Lynch. Lynch finding yet another open gap. Not quite as many yards this time as she's brought down right around the 23-yard line.
I believe it was Pelham who brought her down. Good job there of reading and reacting and making the play.
Lynch with 7 carries so far tonight, and 4 of which have gone for 6 yards or more, with a long run of 9. Certainly it's something that's been rather effective for Tacoma. Not effective enough yet to get them into the end zone, but something that the Reign will have to keep an eye on. This time they're going to go to the fullback as First Rider gets the carry. Ball is fumbled, however, we get whistles beforehand.
I think they're going to say that her forward progress was stopped.
Progress was stopped, and her lower body might have even been on the ground for that matter as well.
Yeah, I couldn't tell if a knee was down, but she wasn't going any farther forward, that's for sure.
As though Forrest Larson, number 37, and Sarah Cooper, 22, might have been in on the tackle on that play. 3rd and 5 coming up. Ball sitting right outside the 20-yard line.
And this is definite 4-down territory, so don't rule out any running plays here from Tacoma.
Staying in that I formation with Fist Rider and Lynch. This time the ball goes to Lynch. Lynch trying to go outside. Brooklyn Holton says, "No, you are not." And then her teammates come over to help finish off the play as Sierra Lynch hits the turf rather hard, and she gets up somewhat gingerly, finally able to shake it off, but not before she loses 3 yards on the play, and that'll push it all the way back to the 26-yard line.
Good job by Holton making the tackle. I will not complain about the result because it was a tackle for loss. She did jump inside, which you don't really want to see an outside defender do, but she got away with it by making the tackle.
And I guess even if you're able to slow your opponent down enough to where your teammates can come over and help you, that's never a bad thing. And actually lost 5 on the play, so that's going to bring up a 4th and 10 here.
But having played outside linebacker myself, I was taught never jump inside, never go inside a blocker.
And we get whistles as a little bit of a surprise there. They hand it off to Lynch, but are they actually planning on doing trying to execute a running play on 4th and 10, perhaps?
Well, she's had up until that last carry, she's had a pretty good average for the most part, and maybe they're trying to catch Everett off guard, but now they delay a game penalty, make it a 4th and 15.
Not only do you push yourself back, but you might have shown your hand on that play a little bit as well. We'll see if they kind of imagine that even though the running game has been working fairly well for you, 4th and 15, that's a lot of ground to pick up when you're in that I formation.
That's a hard sell in the huddle if you're the quarterback and you're getting told to call a run play in this situation.
Guerrero has completed 2 passes so far today. 25 yards total. Pettersen lined up out to the left. You've got number 24.
It's another run.
Oakenfeld's out to the right, and we do get a run, and that run is not going very far at all. Waiting for it, number 73, Janelle Aaliyah. 2-yard gain, and Tacoma takes over on downs with 8:43 to go here in the second quarter.
Great job at the point of attack by the Everett. Forrest Larson as well was in on that play. And now Everett with a good 4th down stop, 8:43 left to go in this quarter. They get another nice time-consuming drive. They could, potentially put up some points and not give Tacoma much time left to go in this first half.
Well, and prior to that fumble on the last carry, Everett had some nice momentum going on offense from the 82-yard drive that led to the only score of the game so far. We'll see if they can get that going here again as they will take this one over at their own 28. Walsh with 2 running backs in the backfield, and we get whistles. I see Billy Russo on the field, the head coach. Perhaps the timeout was called.
Timeout by Everett.
That is, in fact, the case. So we will take a quick break. 8:41 to go here in the second quarter. Everett 7, Tacoma 0. You're watching STSPN.com.
Sports Physical Therapy is proud to be the official physical therapist and athletic trainers for the Everett Rain. Their team of experts specializes in physical therapy, hand therapy, massage therapy, athletic training, functional fitness, and more. With clinics in Everett, Bellevue, and Kirkland, SPT has the experience and knowledge to help athletes of all ages perform at their highest potential. Call them today to schedule a complimentary injury assessment at 425-252-3908 or visit them at sportsptcenters.com.
And welcome back to Goddard Stadium. 8:41 to go here, second quarter. Everett Rain holding on to a 7-0 lead. Trying to pick up a victory on Tacoma. Figuring that Tacoma got the win earlier this year when they were on their home turf. Everett trying to do likewise as they are here on a nice semi-windy night here in Everett, Washington. Michelle Walsh back under center. 1st and 10 coming up. Pitch goes to Brooklyn Holton. Holton gets by 2 tacklers, finds a little bit of space, and now she's got an open field to the 45. 1 player to beat. Finally pushed out of bounds at the 40. Let's see where they're actually going to spot it within the 40.
The 39.
39-yard line. So she goes from the 29-yard line on one side of the field to the 39-yard line. Give her 32 yards on the carry. I think they might have just found themselves a new running back here.
Well, that play was almost all Holton. Tacoma sent a blitz on the outside, and the blitzer went screaming past Pelham, but Pelham just got just enough of her to make the tackle difficult, and then Holton just put on the jets. And I tell you what, when she gets on the outside with some speed going, she's tough to catch.
2 carries for 68 yards so far tonight.
That's a
Brooklyn Holton from Wenatchee, Washington. Yeah, you'll take that every time. Now we go back to the Felder tailback, and now we're going to throw the ball down the field. Getting open, and did she catch the ball? She did, in fact, catch it. Penalty markers down. I think we're going to get a defensive pass interference as North Shankman comes down with the ball at the 21-yard line.
I thought that hit the turf a little bit, but
I was trying to hold back on my excitement because I was sure she dropped it. Todd Elvick, our producer, telling me that he has no doubt that the ball hit the turf. They're spotting it right at the 21. That's an 18-yard gain. I guess even if it did hit the turf, you'd still have a pass interference regardless. But
yeah, and although she broke open real early in that route, and by the time Walsh saw her, the defenders were starting to close, which is why an interference or that ball is even contested.
We're looking at a replay of it right now. Boy, I don't know. Todd Elvick's convinced to hit the turf. I think she might have gotten her elbow underneath it.
I thought I saw the nose of the ball hit the turf.
And again, it's not as though it would have made that big of a difference. Even if she hadn't caught the ball, you'd still take the 15-yard penalty, which would put you at the 24. So it's only a difference of 3 yards. Shankman, though, she wants the catch, right? 18-yard gain.
Plus, that's 3. If you take the penalty, you lose 3 yards, so decline it.
So if, in fact, the catch stands, Shankman now with 2 catches for 33 yards on the day. Everett in business once again.
Are they marking? They're marking it off from the point of the catch? That's
a new one for me.
Unless
they didn't call pass interference, unless it was a personal foul of some sort.
Well, he made the pass interference. That's a new one.
Generally speaking, and now they've got whistles again, so perhaps they'll talk about this.
Timeout Tacoma, but
if that is a pass interference and it's caught, you can decline that penalty. You do not get the yards added on the end of it.
You don't get if the general rule is if there's a pass interference but the offense player catches it, and then if the yards of the catch is more than the yards of the penalty, you decline the penalty. You don't, and they don't tack on yards after the.
Todd Elvick wants to show the play one more time. Oh, in fact, he's right. The ball doesn't hit the ground. Again, if they were to call this correctly, if it is in fact pass interference.
Well, Tacoma coach is talking to the referee, and if he's arguing about the yards being tacked on after the catch, I'm with him because the penalty should have been declined because of an 18-yard catch. You don't tack.
He pats Bob Zamora on the back. So again, perhaps we've seen this before where the referees will do one hand signal or hand motion, and then the call is something different. So there could have been something else on there. Did she get her hand on a face mask?
There may have been a face mask. Cause I only saw the officials make the referee motion pass interference. There could have been another penalty in there as well.
Regardless, the catch will stand one way or the other. 18-yard gain for Shankman. Tack on another 10. Fake the pitch, handoff up the middle to Pelham, and Pelham not going anywhere. Trauma didn't seem to be very fooled on that play, and 2 or 3 of their players just waiting for it, one of which was number 52, Makisa Bush Johnson. Looked as though number 23 might have been in the tackle as well, Keaton.
They faked the pitch, then tried to run a trap to Pelham going the other way. And if I'm going to fake a pitch right now, I want Brooklyn Holton in because she's got 68 yards on 2 carries. Both were toss sweeps. I'd buy a fake with her in the game maybe more than someone else.
Candace Dutcher, number 33, was the other player in on the tackle. Dutcher takes up a lot of space right there in the middle. 2nd and 13 coming up. Walsh looking to throw it into the flat, completes it, and brought down. Is that a tackle eligible? That looks like Aaliyah with the catch, and it is in fact the case.
That's Riley, 2072, not 73.
Oh, 72, Stephanie Ripley. Okay, Ripley was the one. I had 72 and 73 mixed up. So Ripley wearing one of those 70s numbers, and I think she does have 2 catches on the year already. So
you don't normally see someone wearing a 70s number lining up as a receiver or tight end.
Unfortunately for Ripley, no gain on the play. Brings up a 3rd and 13.
May have lost a couple of yards.
And they marked it as at the same line of scrimmage. The 3-yard loss occurred on the first down play on the rush from Pelham. This is going to be a throw towards the end zone. Walsh dragged down and dropped at the 15-yard line. Number 86 getting in on the tackle. That's Macy Wilson. Wilson, who was the hero the last time these two teams played, as she forced the fumble that, and not only forced it, she recovered the fumble that led to the game-winning touchdown. Haven't called Macy's name yet today, but we're going to call it now as she drags Walsh down for a loss of 2.
I think someone also ran the wrong route because I saw it was a design rollout to the right, and I saw a receiver running a drag route all the way going to the left, and usually on rollouts to one side you don't see a route going back the opposite way.
All right, 4th and 15 coming up, and once again we're going to get Felder in for another field goal attempt, a 32-yarder. She was well short on the 35-yard attempt. This time it's on the right hash. We'll see if Tacoma perhaps doesn't bring in quite as much of a rush this time as they roughed her up previously, and it ended up leading into the lone touchdown of the game.
And another delay of game call here, this time against Everett. And Felder, she, on whether it's a field goal or PEAT, she has a long run up to the ball. I worry about that getting blocked.
And Michelle Walsh pleading her case with referee Bob Zamora to no avail.
She thought they may have started the play clock a little fast.
Surprised they're keeping her on for a 37-yarder? The 35-yarder looked fairly short. We'll ask Larry Lisk if he knows what her range is. It's close, he says, so we'll see what happens here. She is, in fact, standing about 7 yards back from...
Now we're going to get an offside, so...
Felder, once upon a time, kicked for her high school, Monroe, the Bearcats.
Well, it's close yardage-wise, but then you also have to factor in it's on the hash mark, so that adds a little bit more extra distance because of the angle, if you know your geometry.
We'll see if the geometry is in her favor as she now will line up for a 32-yarder for the second time on this play.
Third time.
Well, second time from the 32. The one was at the 37. Ball is down. Kick is up, and it is blocked. Felder goes to pick it up, and she does, trying to find room out to the left, and just finally gets dragged down by Bush Johnson on the play, number 52.
It's Sandy Pettersen who actually came in and made that block. But some of that is on Felder, and it's just that she has a long run up to the ball, and so it takes a little extra bit of time to actually kick the ball, and it gives the blocker rush more time to get in the backfield.
And Pettersen had to be licking her chops from the get-go. She almost blocked the last field goal attempt, as you pointed out.
Yeah.
And the fact that Felder was dropped back as far as she was, Pettersen had nobody trying to even attempt to block her on that left side of the offensive line. She knew that she was going to get a nice head of steam coming in, and fairly predictable block kick right there.
Because typically the technique for blocking on PAT or extra point is everyone blocks to their inside gap, and then if you're the player, the wing on each side, you still block to the inside gap, but then you just try to get a push on whoever's outside of you, just hoping that'll throw them off. But that's typically when you have a kicker at a normal depth on the run-up.
And we're going to get another timeout on the field. 5:17 to go here in the half. Tacoma's ball. We'll take a quick break. You're watching STSPN.com.
Hugs all around. Come here, let's have a TV hug. Get right in here. Get close to your TV. Oh, yeah, there you go. Feels great. Okay. All right, so we are psyched because next week, starting Monday, we reveal the winners in Best of Western Washington. Here are some hints. Find out what this guy has to do with your favorite food truck. Winners all next week. Well, this week we're cruising the Caribbean. Tomorrow night, Jim takes us to St. Thomas.
5:17 left in the half. Tacoma trailing Everett 7-0. However, the Trauma do have the football after the blocked field goal attempt. Guerrero takes the snap, hands it off to Egan. Egan bounces off the the line of scrimmage and cuts it out to the right. Nothing doing there. Forrest Larson in on the tackle. It looked as though number 91, Regina Buckmiller, might have even had a part in that play as well.
Well, she definitely had a part in that play. She's the one who got in the backfield, got the penetration, and pushed two Tacoma offensive linemen into the backfield. Running back bounces off of them and then into the waiting arms of Forrest Larson.
So Egan with a loss of 5. She now has 2 carries for -7 yards on the day. Mentioned earlier, she was one of the main players in that last matchup between these two teams. As she takes the end around and just falls on it, and still trying to come up with it, and finally does. And that, in fact, was number 27, trading in that 1 for a 7 on this play. So it is Linnea Ferguson, the wide receiver, who was looking for the end around and ended up going backwards.
And if she didn't fall in it, like Aaliyah was right there to pick it up and score herself. So very fortunate break there for Tacoma.
So we're looking at a 3rd and 21 now. Loss of 6 on that play. 3:48 left in the first half. Guerrero shotgun formation, throws out into the flat. Catch is made. However, 121 tackling the other one. Nikki Pelham reading that one from the get-go. They've tried that play a few times already today. Christy Egan makes the catch, but she's brought down after picking up only 1 yard on the play, and that's going to bring the punt team on one more time as Everett set to possibly get very good field position again as both of the returners inside the 50 as Egan drops back to kick.
A nice job by Pelham there. Yeah, she gave up the completion, but on 4th and long or 3rd and long, you can give up a 1 yard completion as long as you make the tackle right away, which is what Pelham did.
Egan with easily her best kick of the night. That one's going to bounce at the 41. Takes a huge Trauma bounce. It might even go inside the 20 and does. However, it does roll back in at the 21. That ball was kicked from the 20-yard line, so give her 59 yards on the kick. And seeing her last 2 kicks went 16 and 26 yards.
Huge flip of field position there. That's huge for the Tacoma defense. Now they don't have to defend the short field, although that has not been a problem.
And 2:52 to go. Neither one of these teams really set to be a 2-minute offense per se. Everett has had a few breakaway runs, and they've had some decent completions downfield today, so perhaps they can get something going on here as time is starting to tick down here in the first half.
Well, Everett's best big play threat has been tossing it out to Brooklyn Holton and letting her run. So maybe we'll see one of those again at some point on this drive.
Again, Holton with runs of 36 and 32 yards so far tonight. North Shankman also having a nice game with catches of 15 and 18 yards. Walsh throwing that one over the middle. It looks as though it might have just slipped out of her hand as Forrest Larson was the intended receiver, and she just threw a duck on that play.
I think you're right. It just came out of her hand funny. And one thing it looks like Everett's trying to do is when Tacoma is playing with a safety, it's usually one, and whenever you see a team play with a one high safety, those seam routes with the slot, usually a tight end or a slot receiver just running straight at the field, those often can be big plays for an offense facing this type of defense. But you got to be able to look the safety one way, then throw back the other. But then also the ball can't come out of your hand funny like that.
Only takes 4 seconds off the clock. We're now looking at 2:48. Walsh once again shotgun formation, throws this one through the last one too short, through this one too far. Intended receiver was number 6 Shankman.
Well, Shankman ran a slant route and the ball was thrown over her head. I don't know if maybe she was trying to get it. Looked like flicking her was the outside receiver there. Maybe she was going there. I don't know.
So Tacoma, who just a few moments ago was in a pretty deep hole, they get the 59-yard kick from Egan, and now they get 2 very quick plays that have hardly eaten any time off the clock. If they can get another stop here, they're going to get the ball back in decent field position with plenty of time. Walsh drops back, looking, throws it over the middle. Forrest Larson has that one fall off of her fingertips. Tried to bring it in at the 29 as she was falling to the ground. It would have been short either way. That's going to bring up a 4th and 10. 3 plays, 3 passes, 3 incompletions, and very little time off that clock with 2:38 to go.
Trying to get Larson on a drag route, and the ball was just thrown behind her. And you're right, if she had caught it because it was thrown behind her, she probably would have gotten tackled right away. Had the ball been out in front of her where she could have caught it on the run, she might have had a chance because of just the way the defense was out in the field that play.
Carr with the kick this time. Ball takes a bounce, hits her own player as Lehman was down the field ready to make a tackle, and unfortunately, by having that ball hit her in the back there, it stops at the 37-yard line, so a very short kick, only 16 yards, and Tacoma with 2:30 to go in the half gets to bring their offense back onto the field.
And again, the Everett defense being asked to defend a short field, although thankfully this time it's not after a turnover, it's just after a punt. But this is a big opportunity for Tacoma to close the half right and either tie or get within 1 of Everett.
Tacoma with by far and away their best starting field position of the night. At the Rain 37-yard line. Guerrero with her team back in the huddle. Festive atmosphere below us here. We've got the music blasting. Beetle Mode is down there trying to get the crowd fired up at times, wearing his Seahawks attire.
You usually don't hear a lot of Taylor Swift at football games, though.
That's very true. Good point. Lynch sweeping out to the right. Holland trying to make the tackle from behind. Couldn't do it. Lynch getting through a couple of would-be tacklers before finally going out of bounds right around the 31-yard line. Picks up 6 yards on the play.
And again, so I saw it some last week, and I'm seeing it again tonight. A bad habit of some of the perimeter defenders of Everett, whether it's defensive end or outside linebacker, trying to go inside of the block and go around it that way instead of taking on the block and keeping outside arm and leg free and maintain outside leverage. And that's what allowed the ball carrier to get around them that time.
Got Lynch now for 40 yards on 10 carries so far tonight. Hand off to Lynch again for carry number 11, and this time she goes backwards. Shania Holland missed the last tackle.
She didn't miss that
That's the case this time. She throws Lynch down at the, we'll call it the 34-yard line. It looks as though she's going to lose 2 on the play.
Holland did a great job of defeating the blocker in front of her, and then because she was near the point of attack, just making the tackle and dropping her for a loss.
Clock now down under 2 minutes to go, 1:47 to be precise. 3rd and 6. Tacoma still looking for their first points of the evening. Staying in that I formation. Fist Rider and Lynch in the backfield. Pitch goes to Lynch, takes a bounce right back up into her hands, looking to go out to the left and not looking very far as Lindsey Felder makes the tackle. That's the good news. Bad news is that Felder might have gotten a little dinged up on the play.
I think made a little knock on her knee there. I mean, again, the drop pitch may have been a blessing for Everett because, again, they had a couple players dive inside and then start chasing it from behind, and you just cannot do that if you're an outside linebacker or a defensive end and be successful defending the run.
4th and 7 here. 34-yard line. We're now down under a minute to go in the half. They need to get it around the 32-yard line for the first down. We haven't seen this yet tonight. We have Makisa Bush Johnson, number 52, in as the blocking back.
And they give her
and
the
they
ball.
give her the football. She lunges ahead to the 32, picks up a yard on the play, but it's not enough, and that's going to turn the ball back over to Everett with 36 seconds to go here in the half. And I'm not sure if you have the 36-second offense in your playbook. We'll see what they want to do here. They already have the 7-0 lead. Are you, as the coach, if you're Billy Russo, are you content to?
They're going to get the ball back to start the second half. I call one play, and if you get something big on it, then you go get aggressive. But if you don't get anything on this first down play, then maybe take a knee or just run something up the middle and go to the half. And something I see right now on the sideline is Brooklyn Holton not in the game without her helmet as well. So you wonder if she got a knock on her head.
Forrest Larson.
Reverse.
The reverse is snuffed out. She hands it forward to North Shankman. Shankman's probably wishing she hadn't. She gets thrown down at the 22-yard line. It's going to be an 11-yard loss. Tacoma's celebrating, but really I don't think it's going to mean much here as clock now showing 18 and counting. Be curious to see if Everett even wants to take another snap right now.
Just go to halftime. You have the lead. You're going to get the ball to start the next half. Go talk about the things that you did well, but also go in and make some adjustments that you need to make on offense.
Did we get a timeout, or was there a...
Tacoma called a timeout with 3 seconds left.
Well, and I guess in a game like this where there have been a few follies, if you will, from time to time.
You never know.
You've probably got a better chance of having an offensive blunder in which you can score from 22 yards out more so than you would a 78-yard offensive touchdown. So
yeah,
perhaps Coach Volk over there just decided, hey, we're going to make you guys try to run one more play on us, and if you do and you mess up, maybe we can make you pay for it.
Maybe. Well, I'd be tempted to call a victory formation now and just have Walsh take a knee.
Well, you tried a little trickery on the last play, and you went backwards. See what they want to do here. Larson once again in the backfield, as is Pelham. And then you got Shankman lined up way out to the left. Uncovered right now. You do have a safety dropping way back deep, and they throw it to her in the open 35-yard line. She only has one defender to beat. Can she get by her? She does! The 40, the 30, there's a penalty marker down, but it's going to be a face mask. Nor Shankman, touchdown Rain! You call the timeout, you pay for it.
Wow.
They left Shankman wide open.
That's a second time this half Tacoma's left a receiver uncovered like that, and assuming the penalties against Tacoma, they'll finally have paid for it.
Brandy Okenfelds was the lone safety back, and once Shankman made that catch, she only had one player to beat, and she got by her. Okenfelds trying to get her with the... What are we calling here?
Well, they're calling Walsh over, so that
it should be a touchdown.
Should be a touchdown. Decline the penalty, take the touchdown.
So Michelle Walsh with the 78-yard touchdown pass to North Shankman at the end of the half. Everett Rain with the 13-0 lead, and they'll try to make it 14 here as we'll get the untimed play. And as a coach, I looked at you right before that play, and you didn't like the timeout. You thought it was a little foolish, and they paid for it.
Well, what's inexplicable is to have such a mental error like that coming out of a timeout to leave a wide receiver so uncovered.
It looked as though there were 8 in the box, which I was a little surprised by. They had, and your corner was playing in. Here's the kick. They have Emilia Carr doing it this time, and she puts it through the uprights.
Well, their base defense has been 4 down linemen, 4 linebackers, 3 DBs. So even if you have 8 in the box, you should still have 2 corners, 1 over each wide receiver.
Kick is good. There was a flag down, so we've yet to put the 14th point on the board. Oh, there we go. We get the point up. Kick is good. The AC/DC blaring down through the PA system. Crowd is going nuts. The Rain look happy. They should be. 78-yard touchdown from Michelle Walsh to North Shankman to end the half.
You can't ask for a better way to end a half.
Double-digit lead. 14-0 is our score. We're going to take a break right now. What an exciting game we've got going here all of a sudden. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back for the second half here shortly. You're watching STSPN.com. Welcome back to the Sound Alive Sports Network. Welcome back to STSPN.com, the sister station of Sound Alive Sports Network.
2 weeks in a row.
Two
weeks in a row.
That was 2 call-outs in a row in one half. I got that early in the game, too. Giving a nice shout-out there to both of our networks. Hey, why not? It's free publicity. I'll take it, and so will the Sound Live Sports Network. Steve Willits along with Luke Windsor, Todd Elvick. I got that part right. The other thing I'm going to get right is the score here. Everett Reign leading the Tacoma Trauma 14-0. And 2 touchdown passes for the Reign are the difference in the game, one of which a 78-yarder to end the first half.
That was bizarre because it looked like everyone was going to be content to let the clock run out and go into the halftime with a 7-0 lead. With 3 seconds left, Tacoma calls a timeout. And then coming out of the timeout, they leave, I believe it was North Shankman, the wide receiver for Everett, uncovered. And Michelle Walsh is able to see her, get her to the ball, and then Shankman does it the rest, beats the safety, even draws a face mask penalty, which didn't matter because Shankman was able to get in all the way for the touchdown. So you couldn't ask for a better way for Everett, anyways, to end the half. And so now Tacoma, after that, such a what could be a back-breaking play, they have to now come up with some momentum early on in the third quarter.
Walsh had only thrown for 394 yards of passing in the first 4 games combined this year. She now has unofficially 127 in the first half, 5 of 14. So the completion rate maybe not what you want, but in fact we mentioned this during the second quarter. A couple of those passes were just flat out dropped. So she's having herself a nice game, and more importantly, 0 interceptions so far.
And what we found out is she's doing that with a broken pinky finger, I believe, on her throwing hand. So that makes it even all the more impressive.
So we are just about ready to go here in the second half. Trauma will be kicking off. 3 players back for the Reign, one of which in the middle is, in fact, your quarterback, Michelle Walsh, and that's exactly where the ball goes. She's going to catch it at the 26-yard line, almost stumbles, regains her composure there, gets her balance back, dancing around a little bit, spins off of one tackler, trying to fight through a few others, not going anywhere. She's dropped at the 41-yard line. 12 seconds to get 15 yards. She definitely ate some clock up there, and Michelle Walsh will stay on the field and lead her offense here from the 41 to start the second half.
Well, early in the third quarter, the 2-score lead, you don't want to kill the clock just yet, but you won't complain about that much time going off when you have the lead.
So the Everett offense going back out to see if they can do some more damage. 2 touchdowns in that second quarter. One at the very beginning of the quarter, 56 seconds in, one at the very end. First touchdown was a nice long 82-yard drive that was aided by a roughing the kicker on a missed field goal. So Walsh brings her team to the line. Emilia Carr lined up out to the right. North Shankman to the left, both of which catching touchdown passes in the second quarter. Fake the handoff to Felder, rolls out. She's going to throw to Carr out in the flat. Carr has to come back for it, makes the catch at the 47, lunges ahead towards the 50. About a yard, maybe 2 yards short of the first down. So Emilia Carr getting things going here. Michelle Walsh, I don't know if that was intended to be a short pass or not, but Carr did a nice job to come back to it.
Well, again, keep in mind, broken pinky on her throwing hand, so we can't expect her to have the best zip on all these passes. But what I liked about it is she got the ball out on time. And she put it in a spot where only her receiver could get it.
So 2 catches for 17 yards, but more importantly, 1 touchdown. Carr now with 6 catches on the year. 4 receiver set. Walsh guiding the team down the field, throws it. Felder almost was able to bring that one down. It may not have mattered. It was going to be close to being right back at the line of scrimmage. The ball falls to the turf, incomplete. Will bring up 3rd and 2.
Well, Felder put her hand on it, but I almost wonder if Walsh was trying to get it to Cooper, who was also running a drag route, which is going in the opposite direction.
Walsh coming over, talking to head coach Billy Russo.
And may mention it a little bit in the first half, but Brooklyn Holton has been out of action for a while. She does have her helmet on, and she started the half, when the team came out the half, running some sprints for the trainer to see if she could get back in the game. So maybe we'll see her back in at some point.
We'll keep an eye on that. Holton, who had 2 carries for 68 yards in the first half. Pelham with a run, and Pelham not going anywhere. Bush Johnson coming over to make the first down saving tackle as Pelham for a moment looked as though she had enough room to at least pick up 2 yards and maybe more, and that open gap shut very quickly.
Yeah, Bush Johnson coming from the backside chasing Pelham down, and that's a situation where Tacoma's again bringing a blitz. They brought their safeties up, and usually if you run against the blitz, either you're going to get tackled for loss or you can get a big play out of it, and unfortunately for Everett, they got the former.
So they need to get to the other 49-yard line to get the first down. Snapping from their own. Walsh is going to run this one up the middle, picks up 2 yards and then some, getting a nice push forward from her team as the scrum continues. Walsh finally falls ahead to the 43-yard line, a gain of 9, and an Everett Rain first down.
Great push by the Everett offensive line, led by, I believe it was Leanne Lehman, the center. Walsh just on a quarterback sneak, and I think they caught Tacoma off guard. They didn't look like they were expecting that at all.
Not only is it the first down of the half, it is the first time that they've been on the Tacoma side of the field. And boy, the way that these two teams have struggled and played solid defense against one another in their 2 matchups this year, a 21-point lead is almost insurmountable. Be nice if the Rain can go down and get on the board here. Felder with the carry. She's met at the line by 3 different players. She's going to be brought down at the 42. Pettersen in on the tackle, as was Egan, as was Lynch. It's pretty much the backfield for the trauma on the offensive side of things, getting into the backfield as defensive players.
Yeah, and that's time they sent Pelham one way and then Felder the other. And once Felder got to the line of scrimmage, there was really no blockers there to keep any of the Tacoma defenders out of the backfield.
Unofficially, we have Felder at 19 yards on 6 carries thus far tonight. Pelham remaining in the backfield. 4 receivers set, 2 to each side. Ball's thrown out into the flat. Skipped over to Pelham as it bounces in front of her near her feet. That will bring up a 3rd and 10.
And Walsh was a little upset with herself after that play. She knew that was not a good throw on her part. And had Pelham been able to catch that in stride, she might have had a chance to get a big play out of it.
So we'll see what they can dial up this time. Is they need to get down to around the 32-yard line for a first down. And the way that Everett has played this all season long, knowing that Coach Russo likes to take those gambles once he's kind of in this no-man's land area, you can almost be assured that this is 4-down territory.
Exactly.
Walsh looking downfield, throws it over the middle, incomplete.
There was a hold or a pass interference. You could have called either one, and Coach Russo is not happy with that at all.
Yeah, Brandy
Oakenfels
getting a hand on Forrest Larson. I'm not sure if this plays in or factors into a referee's decision. Looked as though it was overthrown either way. I'm not sure Larson would have been able to get to that. If the ball's thrown maybe a little shorter, do the referees perhaps call that play?
It's possible, but it's tough to know if that was uncatchable because she got held. Like the defender got a fistful of shoulder pad there and yanked on her. So it's tough to tell if that would have been uncatchable or not.
Here we go, 4th down and 10. 2 receivers out to the left, 2 to the right. Pelham stays in to block. Ball is thrown over the middle, incomplete, and we get a late flag thrown at the 35-yard line. Kind of thrown into a vicinity where I didn't see really much contact, so I'll be curious to see what the call is here. If it is, in fact, on Everett, it will be a loss of downs, and one of the Tacoma players signaling that they think there might have been an illegal player downfield for Everett.
Well, I think they're going to call it defense holding. I didn't see it, but makeup call perhaps? I don't know because I didn't – it wasn't nearly as obvious as the last play, which was not called.
Yeah, Walsh just dropping back.
She just kind of
3-step and just threw it right in the middle of the field.
I don't know who she was throwing it to, but
unless she saw the hold taking place and just figured she'd get the penalty. I don't know. It certainly didn't look like an intended receiver was anywhere near the vicinity.
And usually defensive holding should be automatic first down.
It's funny, they marched off 5 yards, stopped, and then they marched off the second 5.
Well, I've seen defensive holding as a 5-yard penalty, but it's still automatic first down. So, but if you ever, you'll take the 10-yard mark off instead.
So Tacoma for the second time tonight, giving Everett a free first down on a 4th down play. The first was on a missed field goal attempt in which they roughed the kicker, which was Lindsey Felder. And this time the defensive holding call against them. Walsh fumbles the snap.
I think Tacoma got it.
Tacoma certainly signaling that they have it. And in fact, they do. Guess who came up with it? Number 86, Macy Wilson, who came up with a huge fumble for Tacoma in the fourth quarter the last time these two teams played. This time she picks one up a little earlier in the game as we are now with 11:52 to go here in the third quarter. And for the first time tonight, Tacoma will take the field as the offensive team in the second half.
And it just looked like Walsh never really was able to get her hands on the ball. And sometimes because she does have the broken pinky, you have to wonder if that's affecting her taking some snaps from under center.
Trauma bringing their offensive unit back onto the field again. Sticking with Guerrero, the quarterback, who, when given the opportunity to throw, hasn't had a bad outing yet tonight. Only 3 of 3 so far. All 3 passes were short variety into the flats.
Well, she may have to throw now because it's a false start back to come up 5 yards.
Ball sitting just in front of the 25-yard line. 1st and 15.
Luke, how'd you like to be on the plate of music the whole game?
Everett bringing their defense out. We haven't even mentioned the corners yet tonight. You got Britannia Flinkinger playing the left corner, wearing the number 80. Marquetta Johnson, number 33, playing over on the right side. Sweep out to the right. Pettersen getting by the first line of defense and all the way forward to the 35-yard line.
Fly sweep, and again, Tacoma does a good job blocking on the edge, hooking a couple of the Everett defenders, allowing Pettersen to turn the corner and get upfield.
Looks like they're going to spot her right at the 36, so we'll give her a gain of 10 on the play, brings up 2nd and 5.
So they got the penalty yards back and +5, so that's a good play there for Tacoma on 1st down.
Going to a little more of an open set. We saw them primarily in an I formation in the first half. 4 receivers out there. Sending Pettersen in motion one more time. Fake the handoff to her, pitch it out to Lynch. Everett able to slow her down initially and then finally bring her down as Felder wraps her up around the ankles. A couple of her teammates getting her up high and bringing her down at the 35-yard line. Loss of 1 on the play for Tacoma.
Janelle Lee was among them, the defenders in that as well. They were not fooled at all by the misdirection from Tacoma, and now it sets up a 3rd and long.
And more importantly for Everett, not only is Tacoma struggling here, but they're eating up a considerable amount of time off this clock. Penalties and running plays. Seen more than 1:25 go off on just 2 plays alone here so far. Clock continuing to run right now. Guerrero looking out into the flat once again, throws it out to Pettersen. Pettersen with the catch, gets by one tackler, gets by the second one, looking for open space, looking for the sideline, and is finally brought down after she gets inside the 40-yard line of Everett. Big play there for Tacoma. They're going to pick up, I believe, as they move the markers already, they were at the 36-yard line. We will call it a 24-yard gain.
And a big play there by Pettersen. He was able to shed the tackle, I believe it was Pelham on that play. Pelham had her dead to rights in the backfield, just couldn't finish it. And now she's being taken out of the game. And back in is Brooklyn Holton, who apparently has recovered enough from her injury to get back in the game.
And North Shankman and Emilia Carr, your 2 starting wide receivers, are both playing safety right now. Lindsey Felder playing that middle backer spot. Holton right outside backer. Larson on the left. Handoff going up the middle. Open space. Lynch finding room to run. Barrels ahead to the 21-yard line. Finally getting dragged down after picking up a gain of 19 on the play.
Huge hole there created by the Tacoma offensive line. You could have driven a go-kart through that. And it was aided by the fact that some of the misdirection, the fake the fly sweep, drew some of the Everett defenders to the outside to honor that, and it helped open up that hole for Lynch to get through.
Lynch on her 14th carry of the game. We'll try to add up some of these yards here in a moment. 56 yards on the ground so far for number 13 tonight. Offsides, I think this is going to be called against the rain, as it looked as though Joe Anchetta, number 90, got a little bit of a jump there on the play. So we wait the official call from the referee, unless she was drawn off.
There's now some debate about who moved first, and If you're a defensive tackle and you're right over the ball, that really there should be no excuse to jump off sides, which she did.
They're, in fact, going to give them 5 more yards. So Tacoma now on their first possession of the half, threatening. They now get inside the red zone. Spot them down at the 17-yard line. 1st and 5 coming up. Looked as though Everett had a chance to potentially go up by 3 scores as they were driving nicely before that fumble, and momentum has all of a sudden shifted. Tacoma on the move now. Guerrero into the flat, threw that one just over the head of the intended receiver, number 34, Shaprey Johnson.
And Johnson was open. Well, that ball was just overthrown. I mean, if you're maybe 8 feet tall, you might have had a chance to catch it.
Guerrero was maybe trying to lead her, perhaps, but either way, it
was just overthrown. I don't know.
No other way to put it. Yeah, 2nd and 5 coming up for the Trauma. This drive so far taking up more than 3 minutes of the clock. Guerrero sending Pettersen in motion, fakes the handoff to Pettersen. Another dive for Lynch. Lynch trying to spin off the first line of defense. Still fighting her way forward and getting a nice push from her line as well as she finally goes down around the 11-yard line. It's going to be a gain of around 6 yards. It's going to be a first down for the Trauma.
And give an assist to Aretha Garvin-Williams, the offensive lineman, who helped push her for those last few yards there. But really good leg drive by Lynch, just really not giving up on the play.
Billy Russo, sensing that his defense is a little bit tired right now, perhaps banged up as well, elects to call a timeout. We'll take a quick 30-second break. You're watching STSPN.com.
Sports Physical Therapy is proud to be the official physical therapist and athletic trainers for the Everett Rain. Their team of experts specializes in physical therapy, hand therapy, massage therapy, athletic training, functional fitness, and more. With clinics in Everett, Bellevue, and Kirkland, SPT has the experience and knowledge to help athletes of all ages perform at their highest potential. Call them today to schedule a complimentary injury assessment at 425-252-3908 or visit them at sportsptcenters.com.
And welcome back on the Sound Live Sports Network. The Everett Rain, STSPN.com. The Everett Rain continuing to lead the Tacoma Trauma 14-0. However, the Trauma suddenly knocking at the door, having gotten all the way inside the 11-yard line of Everett. And Katrina Guerrero has her team in shotgun formation, and Kiera Carson, all 265 pounds of her, with the 00 on her chest. She is now lined up in the backfield, and fake the handoff to her. No, they end up going the sweep route as Egan was looking for room out to the left, short side of the field. Doesn't find much real estate at all and might have even lost a yard on the play.
Yeah, they went with the fly sweep to Egan. Holton first there, didn't make the tackle but slowed her up enough so that the rest of her teammates could come in and make the play.
2nd and 11 coming up. Tacoma still looking for their first points of the evening. And Carson once again will stay in there to block for Guerrero. 2 receivers out to each side. Pettersen once again sent in motion. This time Carson gets the ball. Running straight up, gets ahead for 3, maybe 4 yards, and 00 is brought down on the play by number 9, Brooklyn Holton. Good to see Brooklyn in there after being injured in the first half. And we do have an injured player down.
And it looks like it might be Aretha Garvin-Williams, the offensive lineman.
Garvin-Williams, the starting left tackle over there on the blind side of the line for Tacoma. She's a little slow to get up. So we're looking at a 3rd and 7 coming up. Coach, what are you thinking here? If you are the Tacoma Trauma, what kind of a play are you looking to run maybe on this next snap?
Well, you're thinking this is 4-down territory. So, and you've had some success now with these fly sweeps and also faking it and then running the inside zone to the fullback off of that. So we may see something like that, or we could see even play action where you fake both and then throw it. So that's what I'd be leaning towards if I'm Everett, is either the fly sweep or the fake fly sweep.
Or if you're Tacoma for that matter.
Yeah.
So we'll see if they what they want to do here. Guerrero staying in that shotgun formation. Ashley Schuster, number 14, out to the wide side of the left. Pettersen inside of her. They hand off to Carson. Carson, all 265 pounds of her, pushing the pile forward. She's still on her feet. Finally, the referees will step in and whistle forward progress stopped, but not before Carson pulls ahead all the way to the 3-yard line.
It was effective in that they got some nice yardage out of it. It sets up a 4th and short. What I don't like though about the way Carson is running is I don't care how big you are. If you're running straight up and down like a statue, you're setting yourself up to take a lot of punishment.
Tacoma already turning it over on downs once earlier tonight. Everett hoping to stop them in their tracks once again. There is a potential for a first down here. It's the first down marker right around the 1.5 yard line.
And this is it could be a real huge turning point in this game.
Lynch back in the backfield again. This time Egan goes in motion and we get whistles.
False start. Makisa Bush-Johnson, who's the replacement left tackle, got a little too anxious.
So 4th and 3 becomes 4th and 8. And you can pretty much wipe out the Carson run from the play before that, as they're now back at the original line of scrimmage.
And just like that, it looks like Aretha Garvin-Williams is coming back in the game to hold down her left tackle spot. But now with 4th and 8, I mean, in 4th and long, previously they have ran just a lead ISO up the middle, so you don't really know what Tacoma might run here.
So here we go. They need to get to the 1.5 yard line.
Watch Pettersen on a fly sweep.
Schuster and Pettersen out to the left. Once again, Pettersen in motion. Ball is snapped. They're going to drop back, throw it into the right side, and it is batted down. Not sure that was going anywhere anyway. Pettersen was the intended target as Sarah Cooper gets her paw in there, knocks the ball to the turf. Tacoma turns it over on downs for the second time, and the Reign will take over on their own 9-yard line.
Great play by Sarah Cooper, coming from the defensive end spot, realizing she's not going to get to the quarterback, so then she can do the next best thing, get her hands up and try to knock down the ball, which is what she did.
And we're wasting very little time. Both units switching over. Everett back in their huddle already. Taking the ball over as deep as they've started all day, all evening. And 2 other times this seemed to work to their benefit when they had a little more space to work with. We saw the 78-yard touchdown, and we also witnessed an 82-yard drive. This would be of the 91-yard variety. We'll see what they can do as there is 6:05 left here in the third quarter. Reign offense on the field for the second time this half. Handoff going ahead to Felder. Felder right up the middle. Bounces down to the 20-yard line. A gain of 11 and a first down.
And a great hole there by the Everett offensive line, especially on that left side where Felder went through, and she just did a nice job getting through the line and just kind of picking her and moving her way through the traffic there to get the 11 yards.
This time Pelham will be in the backfield as Felder goes out into a slot on the right side, along with Ripley, number 72, who's on the inside of her. Emilia Carr out to the right. Felder with a little flinch. No call there. Pelham spins, falls forward past the 20-yard line all the way down to the 21. Picks up 1 yard on the play.
So just an inside zone, and Tacoma did a much better job at the point of attack that time, really giving Pelham no room to run. And we were talking about the weather earlier, and it seems confused. We have some sun to the west, but we have some ominous clouds they've gotten closer, so we could see some rain.
Yeah, we could see a little bit of everything. I know I went down to the field at halftime, and it's a little deceiving up here in this booth. We have the window open, but until you get out into the open air, you can't tell just exactly how cold it is. As Felder started towards the middle, cuts out to the outside on the left side of the sideline, and finally gets drilled down at the 39-yard line, but not before she picks up 18 yards on the play. Lindsay Felder with her biggest carry of the night.
Nice job by Felder, just kind of reading the blocks, seeing some open space to the outside, bouncing out there, and getting a big gain to move the sticks for another first down for the Reign.
In her last 4 carries, she's had a 16-yarder, no gain, an 11, and an 18. Felder all of a sudden finding some space, and something's working for her right now.
Even with that no gain, that's still a pretty good average.
Absolutely. That's 45 yards on 4 carries. They're just a little over 11 yards per carry. I think they will take that gladly on any given carry from her. This time, Forrest Larson's going to get the carry. Might have lost a yard on the play. Is looking to get back to the line of scrimmage before she was spun down.
I think it was Christy Egan who got in the backfield there to bring Larson down. Sets up a 2nd and 11.
Clock now down to 4:10 to go here, third quarter. Everett hoping to sustain another drive. They would obviously you take points however you can get them. You take a 1-play drive certainly, but a nice 11 or 12-play drive with 4 or 5 more minutes off the clock here wouldn't be a bad thing either as they go back to the I formation. The pitch this time goes back to Larson, cuts it back towards the middle with yet another cut as she goes past the line of scrimmage, past the 40-yard line all the way to the 41, picking up 3 yards the hard way that time and showing nice footwork on the play.
That was a lot of work by Larson just to get 3 yards. Looked like Egan came up hard off the edge, and Pelham did a good job just to get a piece of her and get her out of the way. Larson read that block, cut it up inside, and got what she could.
Looking over at the flagpole just to our right in the west, the wind is in fact still blowing a little bit.
It's in the face of the Everett rain at this point.
And they're going right into it as we look at the clock. I guess it's going into their face right now. However, they are about to switch sides of the field in 3 more minutes, and we'll have the wind in their favor if it continues to blow that way for the fourth quarter. Pelham with a nice cut back into the middle. She gets up around the first down marker. Might have been short by about a half yard, but nonetheless, a nice carry by Nikki as thought for a moment there she was going to be stopped at the line of scrimmage and
she's not getting
finding
up.
space, and she is in fact hurt on the play.
And you hope this is nothing serious. 'Cause she's a team leader, plays both ways, starter both ways, offense and defense, and really brings a lot to the table for the Rain.
Yeah, Leanne Lehman over there to check on her, as is quarterback Michelle Walsh. And she sticks out a hand as though she's asking her players to help her to her feet. See if she's able to. No, she's not going to try to even walk off on her own as they carry her off on this play. We'll keep an eye on her as she gets towards the sideline. Certainly we wish the best for Nikki.
Got the trainer to look at her probably over underneath that little tent setup just down to our right.
We'll continue to monitor her as she's now on the sideline being tended to, and that's going to bring up a 4th and, like we mentioned, about a half of a yard. Keeping the offense on the field. Clock continuing to run. We're now down to 2:38 here in the third quarter.
They've done a quick count quarterback sneak before. We may see that again here.
Oh, very good call.
I think that's what they're set up for with the back so close.
Taking one step back. Walsh does, in fact, lunge forward. Not only past the first down marker, but midfield as well as she gets ahead forward for, give her about 3 yards on that play, and it's going to move the chains one more time.
Nothing they didn't quick count them, but they still got more than needed for the first down. Good job again by the offensive line led by Leanne Lehman in the interior.
Point out that Stephanie Howard, number 40, that's come into the game to play fullback. She was in on the 4th down play just now, and it appears as though she is staying in the game. I want to give a shout-out, to one of our players here in just a moment. We'll wait until after this play as Felder is stepping back into her tailback position with Howard the lead blocker. Handoff goes to Felder. Starts to go out to the left, realizes there's nothing there. Cut it back towards the middle of the field and fell forward for maybe a half of a yard, but under the circumstances, they'll take it as it looked as though she was going to lose yardage initially there.
Another Everett player comes up limping.
Kayla Davis, one of your offensive linemen, your starting right tackle, who's going to head off the field. We do want to give a shout-out to Casey Cornist, star player for the Everett Rain, who is not here tonight. She's down in California attending the funeral of her grandmother. And Casey, we always enjoy watching you play, and certainly our thoughts and prayers are with you and your family tonight down in California as Felder runs up the middle, gets ahead to the 42-yard line for a gain of 7. Casey, who played out of her mind in that first game against Tacoma, had just tackle after tackle and all over the field, and I think left her shoulder imprint on the on the body of a few different trauma players that night, and so for them to go out there and play this game without her tonight and playing as well as they have, that's a nice tribute to their teammate who was away this evening. 42 seconds to go here in the third quarter. Walsh under center. Hand off to Felder one more time. Felder takes this one out to the right, past the first down marker. goes flying out of bounds, and give Pettersen a lot of credit for putting a nice stick on Felder. And now Lindsay's hurt, so we'll see if she's able to get up here in a moment, as she's on her own sideline anyway after getting to the 36-yard line.
I was going to say that was a nice run by Felder. She saw a couple of the Tacoma perimeter defenders jump inside, so she just bounced it outside where there's some open space and was able to pick up the first down and then some, but now she's a little shaken up.
So on this drive, we've already watched Pelham go off with one injury. And then Davis went off from the line. Now we're looking at Felder over on the sideline as well. Pelham still holding her helmet. Larson's going to take this one up the middle. Nice run. She's got space. And she's finally thrown down at the 22-yard line, but not before picking up a gain of 15 yards.
And a great hole was opened up by the Everett offensive line. And then Stephanie Howard filling in at fullback. She does a great job leading up on the linebacker. It wasn't a devastating block, but it was enough to turn her and create an open lane for Larson to get through for the big gain.
We've hit the end of the third quarter. Clock showing quadruple zeros. We're going to take a break. The Everett, we're going to stay here. I don't think the referees have acknowledged the clock yet, and they finally recognize it.
Fourth quarter.
Now we're going to take a break. So at 3 quarters down, 1 to go. Everett Rain on the move once again, and they've got the 14-0 lead. You're watching STSPN.com. Welcome back to Frank Goddard Stadium. We head into the fourth quarter of action. The Everett Rain leading the Tacoma Trauma 14-0 here on STSPN.com. Steve Willits, Luke Windsor, five-tool player, Todd Elvick on the boards, running the camera, running the show.
The man, the myth, the legend that is.
The owner, the director, the producer, the guru of instant replay, whatever else you want him to be. And he's got a big smile on his face tonight. That always makes me happy. Here we go, fourth quarter, ready to go here. Larson takes the handoff, dragged down from behind. She tried to get back to the line of scrimmage and might have even come up a bit short. Tacoma ready for that play.
Really no room to run there. Again, they send the fullback one way, Larson the other, and the Tacoma defense was not fooled one bit.
Give her a loss of 1, 23-yard line. We've already seen field goal attempts we've seen them line up for a 37-yarder tonight. I have a feeling that if push comes to shove on this one, we might be in 4-down territory, at least for the moment, until they maybe get a little bit closer.
At least one more first down, I think.
We'll see what they want to do here. We're hoping they don't even have to get to that point with 14-19 to go here. Slant pass, thrown to Carr. Ball was batted around for a moment, almost bobbled off of her back into the defender's hands as it looked as though, as we wait to see the number over there, number 8. That is Mallory Moore, the DB from Gold Lake High School, who now lives in Tacoma, making the play.
Yeah, that ball's showing a little high, is creating a jump ball situation, and neither one of them was able to come down with it. But for Everett, thankfully it fell to the turf because it looks like at one point a Tacoma player to get their hands on it.
3rd and 11 coming up. Howard continuing to play fullback. Shankman out to the far left. Larson inside, looking across the middle, and finally throwing the slant pattern off the hands of Shankman. Almost picked off as Pettersen was standing about 8 yards off of Shankman, and if that ball floats about another foot further, I think number 4 comes away with that one.
And Shankman was wide open too. If that ball was just delivered on target, she would have been short of the first down, but she would have, because she was so open, she had some room to run, and who knows what could have happened.
For Tacoma, the thing that you like about these last two plays, both incomplete passes, both stop the clock.
Yeah.
14:07 to go here at fourth quarter. Same formation as Shankman, lined up out to the left, Larson inside. And Walsh dropped the snap, went down to pick it up, and dropped her knee as well, and it hits the ground, which kills the play, and she is down at the 29-yard line. So yet another turnover on downs, and Tacoma will start with 14:05 left in the quarter in the game at their own 29-yard line.
Yeah, just a low snap, and unfortunately for Walsh, she went down to the ground, put her knee touched, and that was it.
So the Trauma, who have been able to move the ball from time to time, that has not necessarily been an issue.
It's been finishing the drive.
It's been finishing the drive, very similar to what we saw Everett do in the game last month. We'll see what they want to do here as Kira Carson now saw her running out of the huddle. I thought maybe she was going to still continue to play in the backfield, but she's back at right guard now. The pitch goes out to Lynch. Lynch trying to sweep out to the side, cuts it back upfield, gets ahead to the 34-yard line, picks up 4 on the play.
And she didn't make the tackle, but Brooklyn Holton did a much better job maintaining outside leverage, not trying to go inside and around the blocker. She forced it back inside and toward where the running back had to run into her help. And again, so and had she dove inside, instead of a 5-yard gain, that could have been about a 10 or 15-yarder.
Yeah, those are some of the plays that you don't always see in the in the statistics, but if you're able to string that play along, give your teammates enough time to get over there and come through to help, it's just as good as a tackle anytime. Guerrero sending Egan in motion, waits for, hands it off to Egan. Egan sweeping out, cuts it back towards the middle as Larson was there to slow her down anyway, and is finally brought down at the 36-yard line.
That was a slow developing fly sweep, and I think the center snapped it a little early there because Shaman had still had a ways to run before she even got the ball because she was coming in motion.
Marquetta Johnson stepping up from her right corner position to come in and make the tackle. So we've got a 3rd and 4 coming up. Yeah, the way that was developing, I for a moment thought maybe she was a decoy from the get-go, though.
Yeah, because it was snapped so quickly.
Snapped quickly. Guerrero just held the ball out as though to show her hand there. We get a bunch of movement along the line from both teams.
Well, who moved first?
See who they're going to call this on. If it is, in fact, on the Rain, which it looks like it is, that will give the Trauma a first down, and it does.
And that's another thing that will drive coaches a little crazy when defensive tackles who are over the ball, who see the ball, jump off sides because their eye really, at least they should have at least one eye on the ball at all times.
Bob Zamora, the referee, motions for the clock to start once again. We're now down under 12.5 minutes to play. Lynch takes this handoff. We've got penalty markers down in the backfield as Lynch is able to lunge forward for a gain of 5. However, Luke Windsor, I don't think this play is going to stand.
There was a fairly obvious hold in the backfield. Joanne Anchetta did a great job getting penetration in the backfield, and then to basically to spare the running back's life, one of the offensive linemen for Tacoma grabbed a hold of jersey and just held on.
Obvious to you, obvious to Coach Larry up here in the booth. He saw it as well, as did the fans who were yelling and screaming, and more importantly, obvious to the referees.
He's now going to talk to Nikki Pelham, one of the Everett captains, and you could see her back in the game. But I think it's pretty obvious, especially after they gained 5 yards, about 5 or 6 yards on the play, take the penalty.
Larry Lisk with a big smile on his face. He's multitasking again tonight. Assistant coaching, running the scoreboard. He's got the big camera lens up here as well. He's the official team photographer.
What doesn't he do?
He's like Todd Elvick. He does a little bit of everything.
Oh, he doesn't sell hot dogs.
No, I wish he did because I could use one right now.
Yeah.
12-14 to go here in the game. Tacoma now looking at a 2nd and 22. They send Egan in motion, fake to her, pitch it out to Lynch. Lynch cuts it back towards the middle, finds a little room, spins ahead to the 35-yard line, and is finally brought down by Brooklyn Holt. And now Lynch a little slow to get up as
she got spun down hard to the turf that time.
She gets a little banged up after picking up 5 yards on the play.
That was not quite a ragdoll tackle, but she got hurled down hard.
Lynch not moving much right now either as we
I think she landed really hard on that shoulder of hers, so you have to wonder if there's a shoulder or even a collarbone injury.
So they're going to come out and check on her real quick. Do see movement from her legs, which is always a good sign. She now rolls onto her back, and while they tend to her, we'll take another quick break. Again, we are in the fourth quarter. Everett with the 14-0 lead. Tacoma with the football. You're watching STSPN.com. Right away.
But
Okay, we'll wait till.
at Kamiak, you can always see one or two of them.
Welcome back to STSPN.com. Steve Willits, Luke Windsor, Todd Elvick, as injured player. Number 13, Sierra Lynch, is still on the field as they tend to her. And what do we have up there? Todd Elvick has found himself a nest. Maybe not a nest for him, but a nest for
some type of
a
bird.
rather large bird. I have not seen a nest that large in quite some time, as that is on top of one of the light posts on the south side of the field.
At Kamiak, there's usually one or two of those all the time on one of the lights by the football and baseball fields. It's usually ospreys. I don't know if that's an osprey doing this as well, but it's a big bird.
Yeah, that's not a crow's nest right there. It's
no.
a little bit bigger than that. That could house a lot of crows.
A community. Or a murder of crows.
It is a murder, isn't it?
Yeah.
Getting back to the football game now. Ball is thrown out into the flat. Pettersen catches the ball, spins away from Larson, gets ahead for the first down, goes down to the turf, loses the football. Let's see if she in fact got it back or not, and she did. Almost a critical turnover for Tacoma, as they need every advantage they can get at this point, and we're looking at 11:15 to go. And it is not the first down marker. That is, in fact, the original line of scrimmage marker, so it's going to be 3rd and 8.
And Larson was a little late getting out there. I think she had her eyes more in the backfield than she did on the receiver, and she was just a bit too much of a trail position there.
It's Pettersen's second catch of the game. This handoff's going to go to number 52, Bush Johnson, getting her first carry. Usually playing on the line. This time she's pushing the line all the way to the 46-yard line. She's going to pick up 11 yards on the play, and that time it is a first down.
Great run there, just not giving up, keeping her legs driving the whole time, and dragging a few tacklers with her.
Second carry of the game for Makisa Bush Johnson. Her first one resulted in a 1-yard gain. This time she picks up 11 as Tacoma once again into Everett territory. Time becoming an issue at this point. 10:32 left on the clock. As we start to wonder if those lights are going to come on here eventually. Guerrero, low snap, fumbles the football, just decides to fall on it.
Smart
Takes
decision.
the conservative route, loses 4 yards, but more importantly, Tacoma lives to see another play, so to speak. And yeah, if you're Guerrero, you can try to make something out of nothing. And time again, we see that in football where at that point things go astray, and all of a sudden the ball's going the other way.
Often when it doesn't matter what level of football, often when you see someone trying to do too much, it ends up hurting their team. So in that situation, ball on the ground, an Everett player was in the backfield ready to pounce, just fall on the ball and live to fight another down.
Again, I'm doing my own stats, so occasionally there's a thing or two missed, but I've got that as Katrina Guerrero's first official carry of the game, as this time she throws it into the flat. Pettersen catches it and gets ahead for 3 yards. So Guerrero not sacked yet tonight, although she hasn't thrown much, and when she has, it's been pretty much quick 3-step back.
It's been stuff out in the flat.
Get it out into the flat, and she hasn't run, and now she finally has to recover a fumble. So her job has basically been to be the card dealer, if you will.
And if I'm an Everett defender, especially outside linebacker corner, I'm looking for two things: either more passes out in the flat, or eventually maybe even a pump and go. And if whether right now it's Holton and Larson, the outside linebackers, you see something out in the flat to your side, I'm almost trying to anticipate it now and try to break on it quick and for the interception.
3rd and 10 coming up Egan in motion.
Reverse.
Reverse handoff. Here comes Pettersen. Cuts it back into the middle to the 45. Ridden down from behind by Brooklyn Holton. Gets ahead to the 44. Might have picked up 3 yards on the play. And nice job by Holton to come over there, sniff out the play, and bring Pettersen down before she can make it into a large gain and perhaps a first down.
And great job also by Sarah Cooper. She got in the backfield and forced the ball carrier back inside, and then Holton, who also did a good job staying home, was able to then chase it down from behind for a short gain.
Big play coming up for the Reign and for the Trauma for that matter. 4th and 8. 8:18 left here in the fourth quarter. Trauma needing to get something going. They trail by 2 touchdowns. Bush Johnson staying in to block. Pass over the middle. Incomplete. Intended for Pettersen. North Shankman a little disappointed. She, I think, wanted an interception, but better off that she didn't. The ball falls incomplete and will be turned over on downs, and Everett will now take over at their own 44-yard line.
When you're a defender, when the ball's in the air going your way, you always want the pick. you want that in your stat column.
Yeah, the turnover on downs you don't get credit for as much, at least not individually.
That doesn't make the highlight tape. Typically, a turnover on downs will not make the highlight tape unless it's a tackle for loss.
That is very true, as Shankman does lead the team with 4 interceptions so far this year, including a pick 6 that she had down at Southern Oregon in that 35-0 victory. 8:05 to go here, fourth quarter. Reign bringing the offense back onto the field. See if anybody's left to play after that last series in which a number of their players went down with injuries, one of which is now back in, and that's Nikki Pelham. Pelham flails her way forward for maybe a half of a yard as she
maybe 6 inches.
Drops down to the turf. Yeah, she bounced to the 45, but not before she had initially gone down at the 44.
That hole closed off quickly. Credit to the Tacoma defender for shedding the blocker and making the tackle.
Just happy to see Nikki back out there after the injury last drive, so we'll see if she can get back into the game. Looks as though number 85,
Shania
Holland is now down also. She's getting tended to on the sideline.
And she's had a good game from her defensive end spot, too.
See if she can get back in there. Pelham with her 2nd consecutive carry. Runs into a wall of Trauma right there, one of which I think was the 0-0 of Kiera Carson. This time, Pelham does, in fact, pick up a little. We'll give her just a little under 2 yards in that play. It's going to bring up 3rd and 8.
If I'm Coach Russo, I might consider putting a Holton in and running a toss sweep to her because she's averaged over 30 yards every time she touched it.
Yeah, we did see that Holton she might be playing a little more banged up than they'd like her to at this point, so maybe that's perhaps why she's not in there. Shankman, defender, fell down, and for a moment there, number 8, that's Mallory Moore. Moore read that ball beautifully. I thought she was going to jump the route and perhaps go the other way, and then all of a sudden she lost her footing, advantaged Shankman, and if Shankman could have brought that one in, if the ball had been on mark, I think she might still be running down the sideline as Moore had to jump up to her feet quickly, and it may not have been in time.
Yeah, Shankman just couldn't quite make the adjustment to come back for the ball in time. I think she's expecting a little farther up the field.
Emilia Carr back to punt once again.
Now we have an Everett gunner uncovered. If you were going to run a fake.
High snap. Carr brings it down. It's off a spinning kick that comes down to Pettersen at the 28-yard line. She sweeps it out to the left. Finds a bit of sideline before finally being shoved out around the 42-yard line. Looked as though that was Emilia Carr, the punter, who actually made the tackle on the play. There is, in fact, a flag down at the Everett 47-yard line. We'll wait to see what the call is on the 15-yard return by Pettersen.
And we're still waiting for the lights to come on.
Coach Larry Lisk predicting illegal formation. We'll see if the coach gets it right up here in the booth.
He's had a good batting average so far.
So a few applause over on the Trauma sideline, so perhaps they found something to their favor, and in fact that is the case, as we're going to get a penalty called against Everett, and we're going to do the whole thing all over again.
Back them up 5 and make him re-kick.
Pettersen standing at the 28, which is exactly
Although
where she was when she caught the last kick.
I might have declined that and just taken because Pettersen, you can get them pretty good field position.
The one thing they might be keeping in mind, too, that we've seen from time to time this year, the Reign having trouble with their long snaps.
that is true. And
They
there's
get
another
flag down. This ball's going to bounce at the 35 and takes a very nice Everett roll before finally being stopped at the 26-yard line by Forrest Larson. So if
the Walsh was kind of like coming off the field, so you wonder if that might be like a legal substitution on Everett.
Walsh sprinting off, trying to beat the snap, and in fact she did. It was very close, but nonetheless she might have been out there a little too long, and they might be getting called for that.
Because they can call it illegal substitution if you break the huddle with 12 players.
I believe that is exactly what they're going to call. I can hear Billy Russo down on the field yelling she was over here, but I think you're right. I don't think it's a matter of whether or not she was on the field when it was snapped.
You can't break the huddle with 12.
Exactly, yeah. I think that's the referees are going to explain to him, and we will try this for the third time. Perhaps the third time is a charm, as ball will now be spotted.
Which is too bad because
36-yard line.
That was a nice punt by Carr. Got a nice roll.
So the first attempt ended with Tacoma being tackled at the 43. The second attempt was down at the 26. Let's see if this one ends up somewhere in between. As Carr standing at her own 26-yard line, 10 yards behind the line of scrimmage. Pettersen standing at her own 38 to receive it. 6:18 left on the clock. Carr with a kick. Pettersen's going to field it at the 39. Runs it out to the right. She's got open room out there as well. She's trying to get the sideline. Finally tackled by guess who? The punter once again, Emilia Carr. This time, Pettersen is able to run it back for a gain of 17 on the play. That's going to take it all the way to the 43-yard line of Everett.
Good return, and that last illegal substitution penalty costing Everett a lot of field position there. So now let's see if Tacoma can take advantage, because it's still a two-possession game, so if they can score quick, they're right in it.
Now that was a 24-yard punt and only a net of 7 on the play. So Tacoma needing to get something going right now. Time is of the essence for them. 6:06 remaining. As Guerrero once again will march her team up to the line of scrimmage. Sierra Lynch in the backfield with her. They're going to send Egan in motion this time. Fake the handoff to Egan, pitch it to Lynch, going to the left side. Sidesteps Sarah Cooper, but can't sidestep the rest of the green. Here come the Reign, and they step up and make a huge tackle in the backfield.
They fake the fly sweep and then run a toss the other way. Cooper does a good job turning her inside, and then Brooklyn Holton was there in position to make the tackle.
It's going to be a loss of 6 on the play. And just as important, it's going to keep the clock running. We're now down to 5:34. We've seen multiple times tonight, too, where Cooper misses the tackle initially, but then she stays with the play, continues moving downfield, and ends up making the tackle.
She plays with a good motor, and that's what you want from a defender.
Do not want players giving up. This time Lynch finding room to run. Started out to the left, cut it back into the middle. Finally brought down at the 41-yard line after a gain of 8.
And getting back to that, when you think of who maybe, even though he missed most of last season, the best defensive lineman in football, J.J. Watt, and one of the things he's most known for is his motor, and he just doesn't stop no matter what's going on in the play. And that's a great quality to emulate for any defensive lineman.
Oh, and it's from players young to old. I mean, It's something you talk about constantly. It's so easy initially to give up on a play and to just kind of rest on your laurels. But every once in a while,
it can come back to you if you hustle.
It's a strange game. There's a lot of cuts and turns and movement, and if you stick with it, you can often make that play. That ball is incomplete. The ball was intended for number 42, Melissa Mersolik. It's going to bring up a 4th and 8.
Again, other than that last 4th down on their last drive, not a lot of passes up the field. Everything's been sort of lateral into the flat for Tacoma.
4:39 to go here in the 4th quarter. Tacoma at the Everett 41-yard line. Need to get Around the 33, they're going to hand this one off. Lynch spinning off of one tackle, getting ahead to the 40, and then finally getting pushed back. Forward momentum is stopped. The whistle blows. And initially that was number 80 stepping up to try to make the play. That's Britannia flicking her. Slowed her down just enough for a couple of her teammates to come over to help, including Forrest Larson, number 37. So Nikki Pelham might have been on there, and Alyssa Allen getting some pats on the head as well.
Larson was trying to strip the ball away and unable to, but more importantly, they got the stop and the turnover on downs.
Kind of number 90, Joe Anchetta, broke her finger last week, and that looks like she's got a club on right now.
Well, there's a couple of other players you have.
Buckmiller wearing a similar club, 90 and 91.
Buckmiller, I saw bubble wrap on that.
Is that bubble wrap? Oh,
yeah.
You can see the two standing next to each other.
If I'm an opposing player, every time I'm trying to pop each one of those bubbles.
They look like they could have like a game of joust right now, the way that those things are just wrapped and sticking way out. It looks as though they've got an extended arm.
It's from that one of the Rambo movies where he dipped his hand in the
on the plaster or whatever.
And
yeah.
then he dipped in this.
4:25 to go. Pelham takes the pitch as Everett's offense is back on the field looking for space. Finally running out of real estate, but did pick up a couple of yards on the play as she extended that one all the way out from the center of the field down to the right side of the sideline. Eats up a little clock in the process and stays in bounds, which is
more important. She's staying
exactly what you want from your running back right
now. I would like to see her maybe a little more patient because Stephanie Howard, the fullback, Pelham outran her, and thereby making anything Howard may have done kind of render that mute. Let your blockers block for you, then run past them.
Unofficially, we have Pelham at 10 carries for 20 yards right now. Everett hoping to eat up as much of this clock as possible and get out of here with their second win of the year. This will be their first win at home this season, and going the wrong way on that play is Walsh dropping back to pass. And following her the entire way was Christy Egan. Egan dropping her back at the 28-yard line. Great play by Egan to make the tackle. Great play by Walsh in a way in that she didn't throw the ball away and kept that clock going. I guess if you can look at it two different ways. Do you want to lose the yardage or do you want to keep the clock going?
In this situation, eat it. Don't just hold. You're going to take a sack. Just hold on to the ball and live to fight another down and let the clock run.
She loses
about.
Well, I guess the line of scrimmage is at the 43, so she loses 14 on the play. It brings up 3rd and 22. We're now down under 3 minutes to go. Knowing that you like that clock to run, do you perhaps run a play here instead of trying to pass it for all those yards, or what do you think if you're the coach?
Your defense is playing well. No need to force anything. I mean, if you want to get crazy, maybe you'd call a toss sweep to the wide side of the field. But other than that, I'm putting the ball in the hands of one of my running backs, and I'm going to force the other team to either use a timeout or if they're going to let the clock run, fine, even better.
3rd and 22 just became 3rd and 27 as it appeared as though one of the Reign players might have gotten a little jump off the line there. So we're going to move them back 5 more. 2:35, 2:34, clock continuing to tick. The home team likes the sound of that. Here comes the blitz. Walsh throwing over the middle. Ball is almost completed. Emilia Carr had it in her hands and just couldn't quite come down with it. They went for the opposite of what we thought. They went for the gusto and almost had it. Almost made the play.
It's a great blitz beater. You throw a slant right behind the blitz, and then it's just a matter of you got to connect and hold on to the ball. And unfortunately, they didn't. So that doesn't bother me as much because against the defense that you're seeing, it's the right call.
Emilia Carr not able to haul that one in. She better haul this one in. She's now back to punt. 2:25 to go. The last thing you want if you're Everett is a bad snap here. And you get the snap over her head, bouncing around at the 5. She falls on it around the goal line. Are they going to spot it at the 1 or in the end zone? Rather have it at the – they're going to spot it at the 1-yard line. Tacoma has the ball with 2:15 to go.
2 weeks in a row. This is
and I don't know if in the heat of the moment it's hard to make that assessment sometimes, but I'm sure if you're Emilia Carr, you would have rather had that one go all the way into the end zone. And to add injury to insult, Emilia now slow to get up as well.
Isn't that 2 weeks in a row where they've had a play with it on a punt?
They've struggled with that snap a few times this year already.
But last week against Portland, they the punter tried to throw it out, and he got caught, and they probably should have been ruled a safety, but instead they gave Portland the ball at the 1, who ended up punching in for a touchdown.
The worst case scenario right there. That ball is right on the goal line. Tacoma just inches away from making this a one-possession game. 2:15 left on the clock. So unfortunate. If that ball rolls just a little bit further,
It's a safety.
it's a safety, and then at least you've got the 12-point lead still.
And you're also free kicking it, and the ball's going to get probably around midfield. But now,
So we had a little drama at the end of the first half. Let's add a little drama here to the end of the second half. Tacoma looking to get on the board for the first time tonight. Bringing the ball up, Katrina Guerrero.
and this is where the injury to Shania Holland could really hurt Everett, because she's been one of their best defenders all game.
And there is a flag thrown immediately, and
By the back judge again, we're going to have another delay of game.
we talked about Everett making a crucial mistake just now. This might be Tacoma's turn to turn it around and give them one right back. You get the ball handed to you at the 6-inch line. The last thing you want is a 5-yard penalty before you even run a play.
I mean, you're thinking score now, and then it's the debate among the coaching staff: do we onside kick it, or do we kick it deep and play defense?
Yeah, Michelle Walsh is running off the field. Perhaps looked as though Everett might have had. Did Everett have 12 on the field? Is that the call?
They might have, and of course, now the ball's on the 3-inch line.
Yeah, I was going to say half the distance to the goal line when you're on the 6-inch line, not much, but nonetheless, a break for Tacoma. Another break, I should say. Low snap, handoff to Lynch. Lynch looking for the end zone, bounces off, fumbles the football. Did she not get in? Did she break the plane? We haven't seen a call yet. And
I don't know if she
did Everett come up with it. She was extending the hands. I thought she had the ball over the goal line, but again, we're at kind of a strange angle here.
Tacoma's celebrating like they got it. They do.
I think they got it by virtue of falling on it. They did not give her the touchdown, so whoever recovered it, as we try to look out the window here, was one of the trauma players, and with 2:05 to go in this game,
I think it's Aretha Garvin-Williams.
14-6, Tacoma is on the board.
And now if you're Everett, you're getting your hands team ready to anticipate an onside kick.
We're going to see what Tacoma wants to do here. If they've got a 2-point call here in the playbook or not.
Oh, how much faith do they have in their kicker?
Not really showing us much to go on yet, and it looks as though they, in fact, are going to try the extra point as Christy Egan is on to attempt the PAT. Sandy Pettersen with the hold. Pettersen jumps up. It was a fake from the get-go. She lobs it ahead to number 21, Egan, and Egan is thrown to the turf. Penalty flags fly. It was a legal pass. It was forward.
It was behind the line of scrimmage. It was a legal pass.
It doesn't matter either way. If it's called on Tacoma, it's going to be declined anyway, and it will remain 14-6.
Now Everett has to – they have to anticipate onside kick at this point.
Oh, absolutely. 2:05 to go. Just what a frustrating turn of events for Everett, though. You had, they are going to wave that off with about 2.5 minutes to go. You had the ball up around the 40-yard line. You go backwards on consecutive plays, and then you have the ball go over your punter's head. You had the one opportunity with the Carr over the middle there too on the blitz play.
And then you think that when Carr recovers it, it's in the end zone, so it's a safety. So yeah, you give up 2 points, but you're going to free kick it, and you think the other team's going to get the ball around midfield, but instead they ruled it at the 1. And they're able to punch it in for a touchdown after they fumbled it, and then you lose the scrum for the ball in the end zone. Because I guarantee you, their players from both teams had their hands on that ball in that pile-up.
And we now have the lights coming on. Apparently, we have learned tonight that the timer on the lights is 8:30, so the lights are coming on just as we get ready for the final, what we hope is the final 2 minutes and 5 seconds of play. Tacoma certainly hoping otherwise. They'd love to extend this one a little bit. They trail by 8. We are not keeping I'm trying to remember if there's been a Tacoma timeout yet in this half. I don't believe there has been.
I think there was one. I think Tacoma did call one timeout this half.
Todd Elvick pointed out that the lights are coming on at an opportune time for when we do the player of the game interviews coming up afterwards, so stick around for that. think we might have players of the game. We might talk to a few different players down there on the field. Hopefully a victorious Reign team will be celebrating and enjoying this victory, but things just got a little more interesting a moment ago as Christy Yeagan now is ready to kick off. Lobs that kick up in the air, and Ripley, I thought she was going to call a fair catch, did not. She catches it and holds on to it. Sandy Pettersen coming in there trying to jar that ball loose, and Stephanie Ripley just wrapping it up, putting a big bear hug on it, falls backwards and brings it in, and hopefully the Reign will be able to run this clock out now as we're looking at 1:59 to go, and they'll have the ball at the Tacoma 48-yard line.
She did a good job of holding on, especially considering that almost as soon as she caught the ball, she got hit. She didn't even have a chance to get down on the ground like you'd want her to.
Tacoma ready to go. They've got their defense lined up and waiting for Everett to get back into the line of scrimmage. Michelle Walsh brings her team up.
And if you're an Everett running back, you have two hands on the ball at all times.
Nikki Pelham, fullback. Brooklyn Holton now playing tailback for the first time this half. They're going to pitch it to Holton. Holton sweeping out to the right. Looking to use that speed, cuts it back in, spins around to the 43-yard line, and does a nice job.
They're going to say that. I think they're saying that she one of her feet went out of bounds. I thought she stayed in, but
for a moment there I thought it was forward momentum, but I think you're right. One of her feet did in fact catch that out of bounds marker, and that's going to spot her down at the 42-yard line. Gain of 6 on the play, brings up 2nd and 4.
That's a shame, too, because she was trying as hard as she could to stay in bounds.
1:49 to go. 10 seconds ticking off on that play. I formation. Holton one more time, stays on her feet, gets to the first down marker, and then some. 36-yard line. She's going to get a gain of 6. Moves the chains with 1:43 to go.
That's a big first down for Everett.
Public address announcer letting it be known that that's a first down. We get a little round of applause down below us here. They get that much closer to putting a bow potentially on this game and getting the victory as a little excitement there. They are going to have to run one of their offensive linemen off the field there as Lindsey Jordan goes running off for the Reign. Holton staying in the game. Running right behind Pelham. Handoff goes to Brooklyn one more time. Up the middle for a couple yards. Keeps the clock going.
And now Tacoma's going to use one of their remaining timeouts. And good job by Holton there, just not trying to do too much, realizing she wasn't going to break a big run. Get what you can and then get down.
So we've got 1:20 left on the clock. We'll take one more quick break. This game's not over yet, folks. Stick around. Again, after the game, we will have our player of the game interviews as well. Everett trying to hold on to the 14-6 victory. You're watching STSPN.com.
Sports Physical Therapy is proud to be the official physical therapist and athletic trainers for the Everett Reign. Their team of experts specializes in physical therapy, hand therapy, massage therapy, athletic training, functional fitness, and more. With clinics in Everett, Bellevue, and Kirkland, SPT has the experience and knowledge to help athletes of all ages perform at their highest potential. Call them today to schedule a complimentary injury assessment at 425-252-3908 or visit them at sportsptcenters.com.
All right, here we go. 2nd and 9 coming up for the Reign at the 35-yard line of Tacoma. 80 seconds remaining in this ball game. Walsh under center. Once again, a pitch to Holton. Holton's got room out to the left, to the 30, the 25, cuts it back into the middle. The 15 stays on her feet and is finally brought down at the 9-yard line. Brooklyn Holton with a gain of 27 yards. That might do the game right there as Kiera Carson, 0-0 for Tacoma, slow to get up. And with 1:10 to go, not only is Tacoma back on their heels right now, they've let Everett get inside the 10-yard line.
And with the amount of time left in the game, I think Tacoma may, at best, have one timeout left. It might be a time for Everett just to go into victory formation and take a knee and just get out of here with the win.
And on that run, I have Holton going over the century mark for the game on 6 carries tonight. Unofficially, as we do the quick math here, I've got her down for 108 yards on 6 carries.
That'll put you in contention for a player of the game.
Wow. 36-yard carry, a 32, and now a 27 to go along with it. Only had the 2 carries in the first half, and then we didn't see her at all lining up at tailback third or fourth quarter until this final drive, and showing nice speed out there, too. When she gets to the outside, you better get on your high horse because you got to catch her.
You better make her go east-west because once she's able to plant that foot in the ground and cut up the field, if she's outside of you, like you said, she's a big play waiting to happen.
So we continue to wait as Kira Carson, who's now up on her knees, which is a good sign, tending to her. As we remind you once again, we're going to try to get down and have a couple of different player interviews after this game. Get a chance to talk to some of the happy players. I've got to think they will be happy anyway after this particular game tonight. Looking ahead, both of these teams not playing another home game. Not playing another home game until June 3rd. Both teams going on the road after this. The Reign will end their home schedule against Southern Oregon, a team that they defeated 35-0 just a few weeks ago. So I certainly want to encourage folks to come out and cheer them on and to watch that game. Tacoma, they will head off to South Oregon themselves next week, and then they have a bye the following week before they end their season at home against the Seattle Majestics. But our hometown Reign team, they head off to Portland next week for a game against the Shockwave. Shockwave, who, by the way, are playing the Seattle Majestics tonight, and which should be a thriller. Those two teams playing a close game earlier this year that was won by Seattle. So Everett playing at Portland next week, at Seattle the following week, and then home for Southern Oregon. As Carson is still down, we're going to take another quick 30-second break. When we come back, we'll hopefully have her up on her feet. We certainly wish that hope that she's okay, and then we'll get you to the conclusion of this game. You are watching STSPN.com. And welcome back to STSPN.com. Kiera Carson up on her feet, walking off rather gingerly. Double zero makes her way towards the sideline. 1:10 remaining in the game. First and goal coming up.
And now Tacoma's going to actually use a timeout.
For the Reign as they stop the clock for the second time. 1 timeout remaining. And really, if you're the Reign, at this point, you should be able to
I think you can take a knee at this point.
take a knee, maybe have Tacoma call one more timeout. We think that they have one more timeout left, but after that, it's pretty much...
It's academic, just victory formation, and which is a coach's favorite play to call.
Get the snap into your quarterback's hands and let her do the rest, drop down to a knee, and go celebrate, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. I know when I was coaching at Kamiak, that'd be the last play we practice every week in practice was victory set.
Be a nicer celebration than last week they were celebrating birthdays after the game.
Yes.
They did have a game. I heard there was some streamers and everything else taking place at the restaurant when all the ladies and their coaches were out and enjoying a meal after the game against Portland last week. Got a feeling there will be fewer streamers because of the non-birthdays, but I think a lot more of a relaxed and celebratory atmosphere.
I know, I'm always happy after a win than a loss.
And looking down on the field there, Lindsay Felder, we're noticing she is in street clothes right now, wearing shorts and using crutches right now. So we'll have to keep an eye on her and hopefully.
That affects their offense, their defense, and the kicking game too.
And with 2 very tough games coming up with both Portland and Seattle over the next 2 weeks.
That's a potential big loss for Everett.
You'd like to see number 12 back in uniform, so we will keep the fingers crossed that all is well there as Michelle Walsh about ready to take the snap from center Leanne Lehman. Offensive line doing a nice job tonight, certainly creating some holes for the running game, getting one of their players over the century mark, pitching the ball to Brooklyn Holton. Holton spinning off of a tackler, getting forward. Key thing there is just to not lose the ball and to wrap it up. She lost a yard on the play, but she does get down, and I think on the play we're going to have Tacoma use their 3rd and final timeout with 56 seconds to go. Interesting call by Coach Russo.
Maybe they're trying to get Holton a touchdown. I mean, she's over the century mark now, and she's been running well, and maybe trying to want one last chance to get her in the end zone.
Kind of one of those what could possibly go wrong moments, right?
Well, you try not. At least I try not to think of all the what could go wrong. You try to think of. You don't want to necessarily live with that fear of what could go wrong. You try to more focus on what can go right and what you want to do. But yeah, you do sometimes have to consider all the possibilities.
Certainly didn't help her average on the play with a -1 yard. So again, unofficially, 108 yards on 7 carries.
Well, even if she's to score from the 10-yard line, that's going to hurt her average.
Yeah, either way, she's going backwards on that one.
Yeah, her average is going down.
I have a feeling if you're a Brooklyn Holton, you'll gladly sacrifice some average for a victory here tonight, and we'll see if they can get that much closer on this next snap. 56 seconds showing on the clock. 2nd and goal from the 10. Still staying in that I formation. Not looking at a victory formation yet. Fake the pitch. Give it to Pelham. Pelham runs up the middle to the 5 and is brought down at the 5-yard line. And with 48 seconds to go, the clock will continue to run. They will, in fact, have to snap it at least one more time here. Now they're looking at a 3rd and 5.
And regardless of whatever Coach Russo decides to do, I don't want Walsh to not snap the ball until the back judge puts his arm up to indicate that there's less than 5 seconds left on the clock, on the play clock.
Just let that clock go down as close to 0 as you possibly can. As we're now looking at 22 and counting. Hand is up. 16, 15.
Now the hand's up.
Oh, and we get movement along the offensive line, so we're going to have to reset this one more time.
Tacoma player was trying to time a blitz, and it's a matter of did she get in the neutral zone first or not before the Everett player moved, and the officials say no, that's against Everett.
13 ticks remaining. Clock starts up once again. Everett at this point doesn't even have to snap the ball. Let's see what they decide to do here. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. That's your ball game. They snap it anyway. The whistles blow. The clock hits 0. The Everett Reign are victorious here tonight. 14-6 victory over the Tacoma Trauma. The Reign improving their record on the season to 2-3. The Trauma dropping to 2-4. These two teams end up splitting on the season, both winning on their own home floor. Here are the players on the field. The players are celebrating down on the turf. Fans are cheering. They're acknowledging some of them right now. Billy Russo and his crew can once again celebrate a win, the first win at home this year. We're going to take a break right now. When we come back, we'll get you some player interviews and wrap things up. Again, the final score, the Everett Reign 14, Tacoma Trauma 6. You're watching STSPN.com.
Are we on? I'm good.
And welcome back to STSPN.com. Final score once again, the Everett Rain 14, Tacoma Trauma 6. Brooklyn Holton joining us right now. Over 100 yards rushing tonight. Where did you come from? We didn't even know you were going to be running the ball, and boy, you ran it well.
Thank you. I actually came from Wenatchee, which is why I don't get to run the ball as often as I used to. This is my 5th season, but since I moved over to Wenatchee, I can't make really any of the practices, and that's just an understanding with the team that I get to play as much as the coach puts me in, and so I have to make the best of it when I get in.
It may not matter if you're in Wenatchee or New York, wherever you are. If you can get to these games and run like that, they might have you do it more often. Tell me about those first couple runs you had in the first half. I mean, they were looked as though your team was kind of plugging away for 8 or 10 yards at a time at various times, and then all of a sudden you bust off a 36-yarder and a 32-yarder, and you got some wheels there too. Did you see anything in particular that you were running towards, or just open daylight? What was it?
So, yeah, and I might cry. So today's my grandpa's birthday, and he passed away a couple years ago. One of my biggest supporters, and so this morning I just decided I'm going to post in this. I'm going to play with my team, but I'm just going to glorify all the support and just the kind of man that he was, and just play my heart out for him. And I told him we're going to win, and we did. And if I had the opportunity to do that, I was going to make us win. So.
I don't want to make you cry more, but since you might have family watching, what was Grandpa's name?
Joe Lasuk.
So I think Grandpa Joe is very proud of you. Hey, congratulations, great game tonight.
Thank you very much.
Okay, now we're going to get your quarterback over here and 2 of the receivers who each had a touchdown tonight. Michelle Walsh, I'll start off with you. Second quarter, you guys get 2 scores and you make them stand for the rest of the game. Tell me a little bit about that quarter in particular, and just maybe in general. You were throwing the ball well tonight and finding some open receivers at times.
Yeah,
We're going to get to the one in particular.
yeah, and I've got great receivers. They fight for the ball, and one of the ones that Emilia had was a pretty ugly pass, from my standpoint, but she snagged it, touchdown. So.
wasn't sure how to ask you that, so I'm glad you said that before I had a chance to ask, because I was going to kind of give you a wink and say, was that planned? But Emilia, quarterback, left it just maybe a wee bit short, but she's smiling, so I can say that. And you went up and got it, just kind of a jump ball, classic jump ball situation. Tell me about that play.
Yeah, I just ran my route how I was supposed to, and then I saw that it was a little short, but, we have chemistry, and I knew that she would get the ball up there, and so I went up and got it.
You had a couple of catches tonight. I do have to ask you about the punt at the end of the game there. Did you know that you were still within the goal line there? Were you trying to kind of push it into the end zone at that point? Was it just such a reactionary thing? Was it kind of tough to gauge?
My reaction was just to save the ball, honestly. So I didn't know where I was on the field, really.
And I guess bottom line, 14-6, and you get a touchdown tonight, so congratulations on that. And then North Shankman, one of the more interesting plays we've seen in a while, and I'll maybe ask Michelle about this in a minute too, but you line up, I think 3 seconds to go on the clock. You're at your own 22, so we all kind of thought maybe we were going to see just Michelle taking a knee, but all of a sudden you line up out to the left, and immediately up in the booth we notice you're uncovered. Was that was the ball intended for you, or did you call it? I guess I should start with you, Michelle. Did you call an audible when you recognized that, or was that the play from the get-go?
I actually can't remember, honestly.
It was in the no.
No, go for it.
What?
No, got it.
I'm confused now.
All I know is that the corner wasn't on you, and you were wide open over there. So you saw that ball coming down. Did you know right away when you went out and spread out to the left? Did you know there was nobody on you?
Yeah, they weren't putting anyone on me for the past, for a few plays in a row, and I said, let's just see what happens if we go deep, and it worked out. Michelle just, we looked at each other, and we just knew that, it would work, and it did. So
I've got to think, as a quarterback, your eyes get big at that point too, right? You've got 78 yards and you only got one play to do it. All of a sudden, number 6 is out there and nobody's around her. I mean, a little pressure on you too at that point too. You know that it's so wide open that you can almost make a mistake on that one. What was that like?
Yeah, that was definitely my first thought. I was like, just get it in there just a little bit soft, not too hard, overrun her. But as soon as she had it, I knew that with her speed, she was gone. Yeah.
I'll ask all of you this question. You lost to this team 6-0 earlier this year. Probably a game that you felt like you should have won. I mean, you definitely outplayed them at least for 3/4 of that game. Any revenge factor coming into this one, Brooklyn?
Larger personal revenge. I actually didn't play in that one, but they shattered my tibia 3 seasons ago.
Oh, okay. You haven't forgotten, apparently.
It's hard to, but I don't have like a rude revenge. It's just like, this is a team that's not going to let you win. So it's always just that mentality because of that game.
No, and I should also add, at halftime, you were a little banged up. We weren't sure you were even going to play in the second half. Yeah. How's the injury and I guess extra motivation when you're playing hurt? You know that you want to beat this team. You go through.
I have a history of, I've had 2 fairly serious concussions, and so if I hit my head, I just know, go to protocol. If it's nothing, awesome, keep playing. If it is, save your life. So I did that, and it was fine. I was able to, I had to wait a little while, but got to cheer my team, and we came out with the win, so it was worth it.
Absolutely, and for you, the 3 of you, a little more special knowing that it's, number 1, it's Tacoma, but also a team that got you earlier this year?
Yeah, I mean, Tacoma always comes out and fights hard, and that's one of the reasons that I love playing with them. Also, it's one of our tier rivals, so that's always makes it an important game. And it was just nice to come out here and be able to connect with these guys and get those points on the board and not have it the way that it was the first time.
And I asked you both about your offensive touchdowns tonight, but we should talk about your defense too. You both are playing back there at safety, holding this team to 6, and really that was on a special teams play, so essentially a shutout for the defense. How much pride do you take in playing on the defensive side of the ball?
I love defense. I'm kind of bummed that I didn't get an interception tonight. Tacoma is the only team that I've not gotten an interception against so far this season, so I'm kind of bummed about that. But
well, that explains a lot, because we were joking up in the booth on a 4th and 8 play. You almost picked off a pass that was about 20 yards downfield. You didn't look too happy with yourself, but we thought it was a good thing you dropped it, right? You wanted that pick, though, didn't you?
I really wanted that pick, and but once I realized, I was like, oh yeah, it's 4th down, it's fine. But I really, really, really wanted that pick.
Emilia, what about you? I've got to think defense is a big part of your game too. How much fun is it knowing that you came out here tonight and didn't give up a single point on the defensive side of things for the most part?
Yeah, actually, defense is my favorite part. It's just kind of instinctive to me, and I think we both have chemistry back there, and we know what we're capable of, and I love being physical out there, and it's completely different than offense, and it's just great that our team could come together and cement that win.
So being physical out there, scoring touchdowns, throwing 2 touchdowns, and running for over 100 yards sounds like a pretty nice recipe for victory. Ladies, go enjoy this one. Congratulations on the big victory, and best of luck next week.
Thank you. Go Rain.
Thank you, Brooklyn. Appreciate it. Thank you. So good to see you there. Final score 14-6. We're going to keep it here for a moment. We might have an interview in a minute, and we do, in fact, as head coach Billy Russo makes his way over to us right now. Coach Russo just talking to a very happy group of ladies. I've got to think the coach is feeling pretty good about tonight as well. 14-6 victory. Congratulations. What went well tonight?
I think, our game plan, we stuck to it, ran the ball a little bit, and took advantage of their aggressiveness inside. And, we had some opportunities with the passing game that we thought we could attack and, just missed out right there. But, we kept some momentum there at the end. They called that timeout, and they gave us an opportunity, and we just kept it in the second half, so that was good. So
yeah, I want to ask you about that too, because at the end of the second quarter there, it looked as though you were content letting the clock go down to zeros. Tacoma calls a timeout. Is that one of those plays where you think, okay, well, if you guys are going to try this on us, we're going to make you pay for it? Or were you possibly planning on maybe throwing a play at the very end of the half there anyway?
No, we were going to take a knee or let the clock run out there, and then we're like, okay, well, if you want to give us time, I guess we'll run a play, and it just happened to work out in our advantage there. So it wasn't something designed. We just said, okay, let's run a play, and went after it. So 3 seconds, why not?
Talk to me about this defense a little bit. Again, the scoreboard shows a 6, but really that was a half-yard drive, if you will. For the most part, a shutout for them tonight. And really, even in your losses this year, they've played outstanding football. How's your defense progressing as the year goes on?
Oh, absolutely. They're great, solid defense. I think, we got some real good athleticism and aggressiveness finally coming around over there. But, we just got to stay healthy. We were having some key players falling in and out. We didn't have, Casey Cornish tonight, our middle linebacker. But, somebody stepped up, and that's what we want, But they're playing really good football on the defensive side. We got to help them out a little bit more on the offensive side, though. So
we should make sure that we give some shout-outs to the ladies in the trenches, too. We talk about the receivers and having Brooklyn over here, but really those 5 that are always getting down low and getting dirty there, they played a big game tonight.
Yeah, they're progressing. We got a lot of rookies on the line, and this game, just the ebbs and flows of it, and just, having to have that knowledge is huge. And, they're finally starting to turn the corner. Things are clicking. It's not as quick as we obviously wanted early in the season, but now they're starting to come together. And now, but again, we got to stay healthy up front, and if they can figure it out, we're going to really do really well. The passing portion of it, they got really good footwork on that and create a pocket for us. But the run game, we got to figure some stuff out there. But they're working hard and they're battling. That's all we can ask. So
now I know as a coach, I'm looking at this from a marketing standpoint. So I'm going to ask you from that approach here. I know you guys always look at one game at a time. You've got 2 road games coming up with Portland and Seattle. 3 weeks from now, you close out your season here against Southern Oregon. I'd like to see some more fans in the stands here, too. You beat them 35-0 the first time around, and your team seems to be getting better. What do we need to do to get some folks out here and watch the rain on June 3rd?
Yeah, I don't know if it's because of Mother Day weekend or if it's because of the weather, and maybe it's a change of facilities. People just aren't aware, even though we've promoted it for a while. So, just hit social media and just get the awareness out there, and and hopefully they'll come. So, we get some victories, I think, too. That'll help. So.
Yeah, obviously a nice group of ladies there, too. It was fun talking to them, and I'm sure that's a big factor for you, too, when you run this team and having high-character players as well as players who can get it on in between the lines as well, right?
Yes. Oh, absolutely. I mean, you want smart players, and you want people who get it on and off the field, and they can figure it out. So, and they're coming around. So we're real excited about our future, and the ladies, again, if we can build a strong core of veterans, we can go pretty far. And, every year we seem to start over somewhere, like, the offensive line, as I mentioned, being really young, we got to start over there, and teach them how to play football. And hopefully next year they all come back, and then, we can progress forward. So.
Well, we had a lot of fun watching Brooklyn Holton run tonight, too. I guess Wenatchee girl, so she doesn't get over here very often. It's got to be tough for players like that to come and have to practice and then show up on game nights. But I guess that's part of semi-pro football, and that's what you guys have to deal with as coaches, some of the challenges that we, I guess, don't really think of when we're watching the game. But nonetheless, great to see her running hard tonight. And you seem to have 5 or 6 running backs you can go to at just about any given time. And you feels like you're fairly comfortable with all of them as well.
Yeah, we give everybody some fair reps, and you just never know who's going to step up. Tonight was Brooklyn, and last week, it was somebody else, and, we hate to see, people go down, and Lindsay's, not fully healthy yet, but she's such an equalizer. Comes in, runs hard, but when she needs to come out, we have somebody come in who's a change of speed back with Brooklyn with the speed, and she has pretty good field vision. And then we got Forrest Larson who can make some jukes, and then you still have Pelham back there. So yeah, we have some really good backs, and which helps us obviously because we run the ball. So.
Well, it was a fun win tonight. Again, 14-6 final. The players are heading off, so I think they're going to want to celebrate and probably want their head coach with them. So, Billy Russo, congratulations and best of luck next week, and congratulations on the victory.
Oh, thank you.
I appreciate that. Again, Billy Russo, the head coach for the Everett Rain, and he's going to go off and one of our Bush Johnson from Federal Way. Trauma player, and I appreciate you coming over. I know it's always harder to talk after a loss, but smile on your face. You certainly played a great game tonight. Tell me a little bit about your team right now. Again, you come away on the short end on the scoreboard, but really, defense played well all night. You only give up those 2 touchdowns in the second quarter, and one of them a bit fluky at the end of the game there. Tell me about what was going on inside the trenches and how you felt about your team.
I'm very confident in my defensive squad. I mean, I'm defensive captain. I'm confident in them. Yeah, of course, we're going to mess up at times, and of course, there's going to be passes and tackles missed, but I'm very confident in them. I don't worry about it at all. Everybody messes up that sometimes, so I just tell them, hey, next time you get it, scoring is not an option. First down is not an option, so I just do the best that I can to try to keep them. If my defense is good, that means I've done my job.
And I like the smile on your face, and I like the attitude, because this is a sport that's starting to kind of get some wings under it, and for ladies that are having an opportunity to play football, playing their hearts out too. How much does it mean for you to see folks from Tacoma coming all the way up here to Everett to watch the game tonight?
It means a lot to me. I remember Everett and Tacoma started in the same year, so I remember how empty the stands were. So, you're playing for like your mom and your grandma, if your grandma could make it out. But now it's like family members are coming, and the younger the players get, I feel the bigger their stands are getting. Sure. Because the younger kids are hip now, and they're like, oh, we're playing football, so their friends want to come out, their moms want to come out, their dads want to come out, so I think the younger generation is bringing out the fans, and I think that's great, because us older people are the stepping stone, and then we have the younger ones that are going to bring the people in to know what it's going to be,
It's a festive atmosphere. You've got the music playing. It's a lot of fun. We want these people to come out to these games, right?
It's really fun, especially when Tacoma and Everett get together, because we all know each other. Do you know what I mean? So, we can sit here. I like Michelle Walsh. Every time I see her, I'm like, I'm coming for you, Michelle. I'm coming for you, and if I don't come for her, I'm just like, okay, boo, it's all right next time. So it's fun to play Everett, and, it's never dirty. It's always fun. We're always talking to each other, so I enjoy coming up here.
And for those Trauma fans that might be watching this later on, you play the Seattle Majestics at home in 3 weeks. That's always a rivalry game, too. Yeah. Good team this year.
Yeah, it's a good team, but doesn't mean we can't beat them. They don't have, they're not unbeatable. I think people in the Northwest tend to get in their mind, oh, it's Seattle. So, they go into the game already thinking that, defeated. So I feel like, I tell my team all the time, it's just another team. So just go out there and play like it's another team. Score, okay, it's 0-0 next time we get the ball. It's 0-0 next time we get the ball. Just keep going and keep going. So
you got the right mindset, and I'm not going to let you get away without talking a little offense with you. You're kind of a Swiss Army knife. You can do a little bit of everything. See you lining up on the line, but see you getting some carries there too. How much do you like running the rock?
This is my first year. I've always said I was going to be a defensive player, and I do not have an offensive mind. But being a running back makes me a better linebacker, so I might as well just step over a little bit and try. And if we have a lineman out, I know how to play a line a little bit, so why not jump in and help the team? Whatever I got to do to help the team, I'm going to do it. No questions asked.
More, which do you enjoy more, playing offensive line or running the ball?
Running the ball.
Even though they're all coming at you and tackling you, you're okay with it?
Oh, yeah, because I like to lower my shoulder. So
there you go. And you like to play the game of football, and it shows out there with you. It was fun to watch you tonight, offensively, defensively, running the ball. Win or lose, you seem to be a good sport about it. And
you're not going to always win. Losing's going to make you a better player. You just go back, watch film, go to practice, and try to fix it.
Sounds like a good role model right here. Well, hey, congratulations on what you've done so far this season. I know you've got more football to play this year, and we wish you the best of luck.
All right, thank you so much. You guys have a good night.
Thank you. You too. So Makisa Bush Johnson there, number 52 for the Tacoma Trauma. Again, final score 14-6. Luke, give me a thumbs up if you have anything to add here. I think we're going to go ahead and wrap this thing up at this time. So invite you to tune back in 3 weeks. We'll have another rain game there against Oregon. And certainly get on out there and support these ladies on the road as well. They've got 2 games coming up against both Portland and Seattle here in the next 2 weeks. So for Luke Windsor, who was doing color tonight, for Todd Elvick, the 5-tool player, I'm Steve Willits. Thank you for watching tonight's game. You've been watching STSPN.com. Have a good night.